Hello friends and bees and friends who are also bees, and welcome to this week's Indie Thursday. This week, I'm sorry for the 3-minute delay in getting started. Twitch was taking ages to load, so I was struggling to hit the share button. Anyway, today we are continuing the playthrough of Higurashi When They Cry, Minagoroshi. When we left off last week, we had started to make some attempts to break the cycle surrounding Satoko's awful shitty life, and this week we're going to continue in our attempts. I doubt it's going to go well just because of what game this is, but you never know. You really do never know. Swap over to the gameplay. The game it played, and back. Continue into chapter 7. I'm pretty certain we read the tips, but yes, yeah, we did. Also going to turn the music up slightly, and hopefully I don't get VOD muted. My VOD from last week got muted for a section because of background music in game, and I'm like, there's nothing I can do about that. So hopefully it doesn't happen this time around. Sorry for interrupting my lunchtime, but can I have your attention, please? My classmates looked at me with surprise. I stood at the front of the room and banged on the blackboard. I needed to get their attention. You can listen while you eat. I want to talk about our classmates, Toko Hojo. Everyone went quiet as soon as I brought up her name. They all knew how bad of a situation Satoko was in. Remembering what happened to her last year, they understood how critical it was she get help as soon as possible. Everyone was thinking they wanted to save Satoko if they could, but they hadn't done anything because they didn't know what they could do. I don't think there's need for me to explain what's going on with her. As you all know, Satoko's been absent for 3 days in a row. It's been 3 days since she got kidnapped by her uncle. He called the school and told them she still has a cold, but I don't believe that. She hasn't even visited the clinic in these past 3 days. My classmates, think about this logically for a moment. If she's really that sick, why would you not take her to the clinic for 3 whole days? It's hard to believe that she's been that sick for that long. Yeah, I feel like if I had a cold for 3 days, my parents wouldn't have taken me to the doctor. But that's also because I am vehemently awful at, like, displaying out loud when I'm ill. You know, be on like level 10 pain and pain chart at the doctor, and then I'm like, you know what, rather than thinking this is something to worry about, I'll just hang out until someone wakes up. The joys of chronic illness. Hard to believe she's been sick for that long. She might have the flu, but if that's the case, she should be seeing a doctor. The whole class agreed that it was a bit strange. Everyone had been thinking the same thing inside their hearts. Phone says to expect rain soon, so... Sorry, bear with me. Okay. No one had really come forward and talked about it. This is a good start. Just think about it. Satoko is the healthiest girl in this village. She won't even get sick after eating food that's past the expiry date. But somehow she got sick all of a sudden and missed school for 3 days. That's hard to believe, isn't it? The answer is simple. Her uncle is forcing her to stay home. We've reported this case to the CCC, however, they're putting it on hold. We went there, but all they told us was that they can't talk about it due to privacy reasons. What do you guys think about all this? I think it's wrong. We all know how her aunt and uncle were treating her last year. Besides, Satoko is living happily with Rika. It's wrong for him to force her to move out there and keep her away from us. The sight of Reina's letting her emotions speak for her when she was normally so quiet demonstrated most of all just how dire the situation was. Reina brought an intensity to this that I couldn't, since I often yelled and shouted about things. Are we just going to leave things as they are? Satoko is our friend. She was our classmate. We spent time together in the small classroom and we're like family to each other. We learned together, we played together, we ate together and we fought each other at times. We've spent so much time together that our relationship is as tight as a family's. Throwing my phone through a window. I'm not actually, I'm just annoyed that it keeps buzzing and saying I've got notifications. Should we neglect someone who's that precious to us? Raise your hand if you want to neglect her. I'm sure none of you want to do that. No way. We must help her. We must help Satoko. Mutter, mutter, mutter. The class was filled with commotion, which is exactly what I was looking for. The louder I talked, the louder my classmates got. They were getting all fired up. The more I let my true colours show, the greater everyone's emotions became as well. Our club is already making its move. We're trying to figure out how we can save her. Did you know that, Tomita? No, that I did not. Let me tell you what our plan is. Don't worry, it's not something illegal. We're trying to fight, but without breaking the rules. In truth, nothing is more effective in society than taking an orthodox stand. Objectively false, but okay. Playing underhand and striking by surprise may seem more effective, but that's as insignificant as Jack-in-the-Box. A real orthodox attack can punch through anything. Yeah, I've heard that even in karate, a straightforward punch can deliver the greatest impact. When you think about the physics a bit, it's only natural a straightforward, simple head-on strike would hold the most power. We're already doing the right thing by saving Satoko. Therefore, there's no need for us to do anything underhanded to accomplish that. We need to fight openly. So, who are we fighting against? That's a good question, Okumura. This is a fight, true. However, we're not going to be violent with anyone. We're following the rules. This is the honest way to conduct a battle. Before we go any further, let me get back to just how we're going to save Satoko. This is the current situation. Sorry, I had to put auto scroll on for a minute. Satoko is there. Her uncle is locking her up inside the house. Apparently, she had no obvious injuries as of yesterday, but we don't know for sure if she hasn't gotten hurt since then. Besides, preventing her from going to school is already child abuse. Check this out. This is a brochure that Mion brought from the Child Consultation Centre. It's written clearly in here. Keeping a child away from school is abuse. On top of that, her uncle left Satoko on her own for a year. That's considered neglect. Neglect also counts as abuse. However, the CCC didn't even take that into consideration. They ignored the fact that he neglected her for 1 year, and they believed she hadn't come to school because she's sick. They concluded that Satoko was not being abused because she had no obvious injuries at that point. What do all of you think? Hibara, this is a blatant case of abuse. Just because she doesn't have any injuries doesn't prove she's not getting abused. I agree with him. How come they can't see it? So obvious. From what Mion's heard inside their office, 2 or 3 days isn't enough time to determine if abuse is taking place or not. Apparently they can only recognise it as abuse after it's continued over several months or years. She says they have to evaluate the situation very carefully. So what do you all think about that? Do you think keeping Satoko in that house for several months is a good idea? No way. No way. Exactly. Absolutely no way. The CCC has no idea how much danger she's facing right now. They don't know how terrible it was for her last year. That's why they're just putting her case on hold. What would you do, Tomita? I think the issue here is that the CCC isn't grasping the urgency of the situation. I think someone needs to go there and explain to them how serious this is. Right. It might be routine for them to wait and see what happens. But in Satoko's case, that's not applicable. Her uncle was abusing her last year too. He was taking out his stress on her. After the death of her aunt, he left Satoko all alone and disappeared somewhere for an entire year. You know what? We even have information that he disappeared because he tried to move in with his lover in Okinomiya. What was Satoko doing while he left her? She was fortunate because Rika offered her a place to stay. What if Rika wasn't there for her? She'd have had no choice but to try and survive on her own. Furthermore, we also know that he came back to Inamizawa because his lover disappeared somewhere. In other words, she dumped him. Actually, she got killed, but okay. He had no choice but to come back to Hinamizawa, and he forced Satoko to live with him again. Her neighbours are seeing her doing the laundry too. The reason he took Satoko with him is clear. He took her so she could work as a slave. How could anyone do something like that? Is there anyone in this classroom that would call such a rotten person a parent after he spent a full year playing around with his mistress only to come waltzing back and throwing his weight around? No. No way. Right, he's not a guardian, but the CCC still calls him that. They claim they'd have to go through family court in order to take away his parental rights. Who has the right to decide whether he's good enough to be Satoko's guardian? Shouldn't be the court. It should be decided based on common sense. I can say this clearly. He is not Satoko's guardian. We need to make that clear to the CCC. The CCC is the only organisation that can help Satoko before she's physically abused. The police won't move unless it develops into a criminal case. But do you think that we're going to wait until Satoko becomes a victim? We can't just sit around until that happens. That's why we're going to make our move now. We hit the Okonomiya CCC yesterday. This is what they wrote down after we did. 5 classmates of Satoko Hojo made a visitation to request her protection. Do you know what that means? 5 classmates are not enough. We need your help. We need all of you. This is your chance to do something meaningful. If you don't help us, you're not our friends. All you have to do is support me. I will do all the talking, and our club members are going to do all the fighting. We just want you guys to support us. If that's not enough, feel free to join the fight. Let them know the spirit of the Hinamizawa branch school. Mebara, what is going on? Miss Chie looked into the classroom, the commotion having attracted her attention. As soon as she tried to step inside the class, someone behind her stopped her. Principal, Miss Chie, I'd like to have some tea. Would you make me a cup, please? It was a clear display of his intent not to disrupt Keiichi's speech. Are you sure? There are lots of young children in the class. They all go to the CCC. How can we explain it to their parents? Chie. Miss Rude, what's going on here? Everyone is trying so hard for Satoko's sake. I can't do anything, so I need their help. But I can at least try to stop you from stopping them. Chie had never seen Rika staring at her with an expression like that. She was surprised to see Rika looking so determined. Why would you want to stop them? Principal, this is splendid, isn't it? They should do what they can. I will take responsibility for whatever happens. Principal pounded his own chest. Miss Chie couldn't object any longer. I understand. Please make sure that no one gets hurt. You all must follow the rules and mind your manners. You have to promise me that. Thank you very much. I'm proud of you, Miss Chie. My students are teaching me so many lessons. Yes, I've made my decision. My students are like my own children, and what mother wouldn't protect her own children? Alright, head back out as soon as you get home today and meet us at the Okonomiya Library. The CCC is on the 1st floor. Yeah. Wait. Miss Chie. Sensei. Teacher. Jesus, I forgot who I was, where I was, what was happening. Are you going to stop us? Certainly not. I truly understand your passion. I'm going to support you as long as you follow the rules. Yeah. I'm coming with you to make sure you behave yourselves. Is that okay? Yeah. Alright, alright, alright. Here we go, here we go. We're all getting fired up. We headed for the library as soon as we got back home from school. I'd expected that few kids wouldn't show up, but surprisingly, everyone came along. I could tell just how driven they were. It was also encouraging to have Miss Chie in there with us. I had to admit, I'd been feeling a bit guilty for dragging everyone to the CCC, but as long as Miss Chie was with us, I didn't need to feel that guilt. Mr. Mibara, please come to the counter. Hello, I'm Mibara. How can we help you today? As I wrote on the registration form, we came to tell you about the danger Satoko Hojo is in. How many of you are here today, and how are you all related to her? We're Satoko's classmates and a teacher. There are 27 of us. Well, the consultation room isn't very large. Can we ask just a few people to come in as representatives? Then shouldn't you prepare a bigger room, like a meeting room? I believe you should be arranging a room for us, not asking us to adjust to yours. Please give us a moment. The receptionist seemed troubled. Whoops, accidentally giving the receptionist a deep voice. It's because the receptionist at work for the last couple of years has been a bloke. Really lovely guy. Very good at what he does, but we love to see it. God. I feel again like I'm doing terrible commentary, but it's genuinely because my brain is kind of fried. I feel like it's like that 24/7 and I should stop using an excuse, but it's also like valid, you know? Valid to have a barely working brain. She told us to head back to our seats and started to make a phone call to someone. Good job, Rainer. I consider myself a pro, and even I thought the threat was perfectly timed. Oh, are you trying to compliment me? Rainer's good at reading other people's minds. Sometimes you can use that talent against the enemy to intimidate them. A strange atmosphere permeated the office. Must have been the first time a whole class had visited on behalf of one child. It was as though we were here for a school trip. Hello, I'm Hariyama, the manager of the centre. Please, take a seat. I'm sorry for bringing the whole class to your office. I'm Chie from the Hinamizawa Branch School. We're here to talk with you today. They were treating us so differently now that we had 5 times as many kids, plus 1 adult. Instead of that small consultation room, they took us to a big meeting hall. On top of that, the manager was there, alongside the man from yesterday. I will let Maebara do the speaking. Miss Chie sat down at the far end of the table. She was just here to look after us. Besides, like I'd said, we were the ones who were going to fight. It was fine if Miss Chie just stayed there and watched us quietly. I'm Keiichi Maebara. Nice to meet you. Well, I've heard that yesterday you visited us with 5 of your friends to present your valuable thoughts to us on Satoko Hojo's case. You here on a different matter today? I hadn't expected that they would start the conversation. What were they thinking? I don't like how ambiguous this feels. Feels like they're debating how to move, unsure if the fault lies with us or not. Keiichi, you should clearly tell them why we came here and let them know that they're in the wrong. My friends were analysing the situation behind me. Felt like I was having a meeting with the president of a foreign country. Actually, that wasn't far from the truth. I was sort of the Prime Minister. I was representing the whole class. I needed to be polite, but stern. Alright, let's attack from this angle then. Keiichi, tell them something like this. Got it? Neon gave me her attack plan. This really is how Mion operates best. If she's weak on defence, then I can bear the brunt with impudence, while Mion issues perfect orders from behind. I took my friend's analysis and advice in consideration and calmly opened my mouth. No, first let me confirm something with you. We've come here today to make sure what we came to convey yesterday was properly conveyed to you. So I apologise if this seems rude, but could you please tell us how much you grasped from our conversation yesterday? It's right if that just means reading a memo aloud. They became quiet for a second. Might only have been a short time, but the silence felt much longer than that. I could see the manager's expression turning serious. He thought he was just dealing with a social studies class, but suddenly his response changed to that of one dealing with a protest group of local citizens. From my understanding, we've acknowledged that you came to appeal that Satoko is in an extreme situation, meriting temporary protection from our agency, and that we should expedite our response. I believe that our staff at the time explained we're not taking the situation lightly, and are currently discussing the appropriate measures. So taking into consideration the fact that Satoko Hojo was suffering abuse from her uncle at this time last year, do you still believe an urgent response is necessary? Well, our organisation has no confirmed records that Teppei Hojo was administering abuse at this time last year. What the hell were you guys doing last year? She was being abused by both her aunt and her uncle. Please don't tell us you were only aware about the abuse from her aunt. Normally we don't talk about such private affairs, but under these special circumstances I think it's acceptable to say. We're aware that there was trouble between Satoko and her aunt, however we had no record showing her uncle was also involved in the abuse. In fact, when we interviewed her neighbours, several mentioned Ms. Tamai's slightly hysteric tendencies, but none ever brought up the name of her uncle, Teppei. We believe that simply because his abuse didn't stand out under the shadow of her aunt's especially vicious nature. We don't believe that constitutes evidence that her uncle wasn't abusing her as well. I see. So you claim there was a likelihood that Teppei also inflicted abuse on the child at this time last year? The manager and the staff beside him jotted that down with a pen, as if to show that was their first time hearing that information. This is why we came here today. We believe the CCC doesn't have a proper understanding of the present situation. We believe you should be able to see how urgent this case is once you fully understand it. I see. We're taking that into consideration. Please allow us to do a more thorough investigation into Teppei. We mentioned this yesterday as well, but her uncle had abandoned his responsibilities as a guardian for over a year. We received no response to this information yesterday, but what is your organisation's opinion on this matter? Of course our office is aware that Teppei was absent from his residence for a year, and we've interviewed him on that matter. So what was his excuse? I mean, you can't talk about it for privacy reasons, but if it convinced all of you, he must have a justified reason for leaving her alone that whole year, right? If you believe living with his mistress Nokonomiya is sufficient reason for abandoning his responsibilities for a full year, then we'd like to receive that in writing. No, is that what happened? He explained to us he was first forced to work away from home in order to raise Satoko, so this is our first time hearing that. What the hell? You just believe that crap? If it's your first time hearing it, then you should also know that Satoko has been absent from school 3 days in a row now. While he contacted the school yesterday to say she had a cold, the only hospital in the village, the Irie Clinic, has no records of her being examined. Would you believe the proper response is for a guardian who refuses to take a child to the hospital when she's been bedridden with an illness for 3 days in a row? Well, we confirmed she was absent one day, but 3 days in a row is news to us as well. However, a social worker met directly with Satoko and confirmed that the child in question denies the occurrence of abuse. When we asked if she wished to continue living with Teppei, she answered in the affirmative. So there's no abuse as long as she says so? That's one of the more difficult aspects. Whether the child herself feels she's suffering abuse or not is a very important factor. It's much like the definition of bullying. While the bully may not believe they're bullying, it's different if the recipient believes it is. So you can't do anything unless she admits she's being abused and seeks your help herself? No, that's not quite how it works. Our organisation investigates the child's environment, and if we find any problems that might harm their lifestyle, we take appropriate action to protect them. However, we don't believe Stoko's case has reached that level of danger at present. No urgency at this point? That was exactly how the CCC felt about Stoko. Our classmates who'd been watching the discussion burst into an uproar. How can you say something like that? What makes you believe she's not in danger? First of all, Stoko denies the abuse, and not only that, she had no visible injuries. Also, she's being provided with shelter, food, and clothes. We can't say that Tepe isn't taking responsibility as the guardian. Both of them seem to have no complaints about their current living arrangements. We believe we do need to further discuss Tepe's past, but unfortunately, we also believe that you and your friends are overreacting. Overreacting? Calm down, Keiichi. Let's not take it too personally. Damn it, why are they treating us like this? They think that we're only acting this way based on what happened last year. I see. The consultation centre was assuming that this year's cases and last year's cases were two separate issues. On top of that, Stoko is denying the abuse entirely. Tepe regrets the fact he had to leave Stoko alone because of having to work for her sake. He promised to stay with her from now on and raise her lovingly. Bang. I heard a loud noise. Someone had just pounded the table. Everyone, including the manager, was startled. Figured it must have been Shion, but it was Reina. Whoa, her face had turned as furious as the demons. It's best for a child to live with their parents. There are things you can only learn from the love of your family. We've heard that Stoko is living with another minor for the past year and has not been living under any adult. This could greatly harm her future as she's a sensitive, growing child. I'm sure that in your friendship with her, you will believe she may be happiest that way. But could you please give Stoko and Tepe the opportunity to restart their new life as uncle and niece and watch over them kindly? Weren't you listening to any of the things we said? You're saying that you're not going to help her unless Stoko asks for your help? How is she supposed to seek help if she's being locked inside her house? She can't even go outside or make a phone call. How can she seek help? We came here in her stead because she can't be herself, but you're not even willing to listen to us. That's not what we're trying to say. We will remember that over 20 of her classmates visited to talk about Stoko's case. We'll take what happened today in consideration when we make further decisions about it. When are you going to make the decision? Can you guarantee us that Stoko won't get hurt before that decision is made? If something happens to her, will you take responsibility? If she gets even a single bruise on her body, you're in huge trouble. Miss Shion, that's enough. Please, tell us when you will make that decision. That's right. How long is it going to take you? Like I said, we need to take the matter seriously and make a careful decision. In order to do so, we'll continue to meet with the two of them and investigate so that her and her father, her uncle, can have a better relationship. Please wait and see what happens for a while. We ask you to do so for her sake. So that's your response. You're saying that it isn't urgent, even though we came here to tell you that it is? We're starting to get lost in what they were trying to say, but Reina's words made me realise everything. We came here to tell them they needed to protect her right away, but they clearly told us they didn't see any reason to do so. We understand that there may be reason for urgency. We will take your opinion into consideration and make our decision. I hope that will satisfy you. First glance it sounded like they were speaking humbly, but our insistence of their urgency to Stoko's situation was spinning their wheels. They had no intention of meeting us halfway. Right, they are officials. Plus, they have authority that can change the life of an individual like Stoko. Considering that, being a little overcautious and carefully deliberating matters wasn't the wrong response for them, and I would have understood that if this wasn't so personal. But in reality, Stoko had no time to spare. We could see that, because we understood everything. We knew how Stoko would reject me after I rubbed her head, because of the horrible abuse she got from her uncle. That nightmare will come true in just a few days. In that nightmare, I knew that I should save her, but I just wasted my time. I wasn't going to make the same mistake. I had to make a move immediately. Maebara, did you say everything you wanted to? Yes. That's it for today. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. Everyone, please bow to them. Class President, will you take the lead? Thank you very much. No, thank you for your valuable opinions. Thank you, everyone. Be careful on your way home. We all came back to Hinamizawa together, and it was time for us to part. As the class president, Mion gave everyone the notice we were dismissed. However, everyone stuck around to talk about what happened today. We came back to Hinamizawa on our bikes, so we didn't really get to talk with one another. Now that we got enough of them, we finally got to say what we wanted. This is the first time that everyone in the class has gone on together and fought for someone like this. It reminds me of the dam conflict. Everyone's feelings are united. That's true. None of these kids participated in the conflict, even though they might remember it from when they were a baby. But what we did today was more polite than what they did in the dam conflict. No one is bleeding and there were no bombs or riot police. Unity is the best thing about Hinamizawa. That's true. This old man's blood is boiling for the first time in a while. People in Hinamizawa all got together to fight against the Dam Project. Everyone working together as a team means a lot to the villagers here. If there's one person coming, 2 should throw rocks at him. If there are 2, 4 should do so. If there are 4, then 8. If there's 1,000, the whole village should stand up and fight. What's that? A figure of speech? It's something that our grandma used to say. She was trying to tell the villagers to band together and fight. When there's one enemy, 2 should fight together, and when there are 1,000, the whole village should fight together. I see. She wanted the villagers to unite to defeat their enemies. It means more than that. Uniting to fight together is one thing, but it also means the whole village should unite and fight for the sake of an individual. Its real meaning is that everyone should share that individual's pain, sympathise with them and fight for them too. Wow, sounds very similar to what's happening right now. In other words, the battle we're fighting right now represents Hinamizawa as a whole. I see. Everyone supported me not because they were impressed by my speech, but because it's their nature to unite like that. Classmates were all still sticking around and discussing the issues surrounding Satoko. For some of them, this was like a return of the dam conflict, and also a big chance for those who never experienced it. It almost felt like a festival. Most of them thought we didn't make much progress today, though. Maebara, so the conclusion is they're not going to save Hojo, right? Adza wasn't that bad, but you're right in the sense they'll watch us suffer. I live close to him, so I know what kind of guy that uncle is. He's not normal. We figured out the people at the CCC don't understand anything, but we just can't give up after today either. Tomita and Okamura seem serious. They weren't just supporting me, they wanted to make a move themselves. We're going to have to work hard to save Hojo. Yeah, I agree. It's hard to believe these are the same innocent kids who are always running around the school. I'm really happy to see them so motivated. Of course we are. Satoko is their friend. We're going to save her. So please, lend us your support again. No, Maebara, this is our responsibility as her classmates. We're not fighting because you're asking us to. We're doing this because we want to. I'm impressed to hear that from you, Tomita. Should we go there again tomorrow? I don't think we should take any days off. Consistency is important. I agree with Reina. But it's only going to end with the same result if we go there with the same people again. I think today was more effective because we were there with more people. Then should we go there with even more people tomorrow, shall we? Forgotten how to do voices for a second there. Reina turned back towards everyone as she spoke. We all understood what she was trying to say. Not all children from Hinamizawa go to the Hinamizawa branch school. Around half of them go to school in Okonomiya. Those children aren't our classmates, but they're still our friends from around the neighbourhood. Hinamizawa is a small village after all. They know Satoko as well as we do, and they also know what's going on with her right now. Rumours spread at the speed of light in Hinamizawa. I can tell that, by now, everyone knows about my embarrassing history of undergoing punishments. I'll talk to Daisuke when I go home. I bet he'd come with us. I'll call my friends when I get back home too. The school in Okonomiya isn't that far from the library. That's a good idea. Let's go. Let's do it. This is turning out well. I think we can get at least 10 more people on our side. I'll try reaching out to the few of the old members of the kids club too. I think I can get at least 3 of them to come with us. I'll ask my friends from cram school too. But none of them know about Satoko or her situation. They're just friends of mine, so it'll only be about 4 people. Do you think it might be difficult to get other adults involved? Well, people on the town council don't want to have anything to do with the Hojo family. Because of what happened in the dam conflict, how about older people? Can't you get older people on our side, Rika? Older people are bitter towards Satoko. People who believe in the curse of Oyashiro-sama really think the Hojo family deserves what they get. So we can only get more children but no adults. How many of us will there be? At this rate, there are going to be about 17 more children. Don't know if they'll all make it, but hopefully there'll be more than 40 of us. 40 people? I'm impressed, Keiichi. You think 40 is enough, Rika? What? I grinned and tapped Rika's chest. It's not enough. 40 is not enough to knock out those stubborn people. We need at least 20 more. I'm sure 60 people would intimidate them. But where can we get that much help? You have no idea. My name is Keiichi Maebara. If I say I'm going to accomplish something, I will. I'm like chugging this drink as my throat hurts. So that's the whole story, Kameda. We're going to launch our 3rd attack tomorrow evening. Will you help us? I don't want to reject your request, King. We ate that jumbo parfait together. That was our vow as sworn brothers. I want to help you, Kay. But tomorrow is not a good day. What? Why is that, Kameda? Can't lend a hand to this poor innocent girl? Where's your pride as a 2D warrior? You deserve a beating. Clench those teeth. Wait a minute, Kay. Please listen to me. I would help if it wasn't tomorrow. Of course, yeah. Come tomorrow. Bastard. Tell me, Kameda. I'll knock at least 3 of your teeth out even if you can't make it because of your parents' funeral. Can't come tomorrow because tomorrow's the dessert fiesta here at Angel Wall. What did you say? Love this game. So dumb sometimes. It's the dessert fiesta, okay? It's the dessert fiesta of Angel Wall. It gets bonus points for using the hiragana for fiesta. I actually won an admission ticket. I'm not going to invite anyone but you. Let's go and pig out on these. I mean... how this game can be so serious and yet... comedy hours. Please. I will help you the day after tomorrow, so please let me go to the fiesta tomorrow. Please, I'm begging you. Keiichi, I think you should let him go for tomorrow. No, I can't let him go. Kameda, you dared to weigh cakes against a real person. Only gain the right to eat cake when you can save her. For starters, you don't have any understanding of how good she is. Listen, Stoko's charm... There's a lot of this which I'm just not reading because it's kind of redonkulous, but first and last half of Higurashi's plot itself. In other words, she's the true Miss Higurashi. This is just a whole bunch of ridiculous dialogue that I'm skipping. It's just a whole bunch of ridiculous dialogue. Slow the video down and read it if you want to. It's like me when I start talking about something I'm into. That's how I go. Sorry, I was wrong. What was I thinking? What have I done? It's okay, Kameda. Mistakes are there so you can realise you made them. You just realised your mistake and became a better man. Take my hand. Take my whole heart too. Daughter, the next millennium is right in front of you. Keiichi and Kamita seem to be having lots of fun. I have no idea what they're talking about. Don't bother, don't bother. I got it, Kay. On my honour as a man, I will help you save that girl. I have it 4 times a year, so what if I miss one of them? It's not a big deal. They seem so down. By the way, Mion, you said you were going to give me 3 years worth of dessert fiesta admissions as a reward for the auction, right? I'll give you 1 year admission if you help me, Kameda. No thank you. I'm a man. I'd be ashamed of myself if I was saving this girl because I was getting a reward. Shit. Do you think we could do something for him? Do you? How about this? I'll remove his name from the blacklist. Blacklist? What's that? Normal customers don't know about this, huh? There are customers that cause trouble in this restaurant sometimes. Whenever they do something wrong, their name gets written on the blacklist. Once the name gets written down enough times, they're no longer allowed to enter the restaurant. Stop it now. I'm an Angel Wall master. I'd never beat sword managers to get myself on a blacklist. No way. Can't believe this. Horrible. However, I'm impressed that you're so willing to save Satoko. I'll erase your name from this list of reward. Hey, Mion, does that blacklist really exist? This old man has no idea. Kameda, thank you. Let me know if you can't get a ticket for the next dessert fiesta. I'll invite you. Okay. Found a strong friendship. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll bring my baseball team members with me. Should be able to get at least 10 people. It sounds like Ronald's a really crazy guy. Wouldn't it be faster just to kick his ass rather than going to the CCC? We can't do that, otherwise he'd take revenge on Satoko. I see. Of course we can't commit murder either. Alright, let's do it the right way. We don't want to get arrested by the police. 10 people still isn't enough. Do you think you can get more people from somewhere? Need more people, huh? Let me take care of it. Kameda grunted at me, then suddenly stood up and shouted. Really give us a hand. I nearly dropped some lip balm. A lot of people around. Today just a normal day? You're not wrong, but the people who missed out on tickets to the dessert fiesta are here today. All these guys are regulars. I don't know their names, but we see each other all the time. What did you think about a story, guys? Is that right, my comrades? A whole bunch of stupid dialogue here. You can probably get the gist of what's going on from the noise. Thank you for your help. You don't even know her. Be ready to fight tomorrow evening. Very stupid dialogue. Keiichi's such a popular guy. He's popular with the town council too. He seems to be popular in the most unexpected places. Lots of other people seem to respect him too. Some of the waitresses here are also concerned about Satoko. They said they want to come support us when they're off. Wow, I guess we have about 60 people now. Might get even more than that. So is this the power to defeat fate? We can but hope, Rika. We can but hope. Glad I don't have camera on because I'm making all sorts of stupid faces. I'm having trouble with the piercing, so. That night I attended a meeting for the Minagoroshi Festival Committee. Everyone assembled at the meeting room in the Furude Shrine. I'd seen the building a few times, but I hadn't actually been inside before. There were pictures depicting the history of the dam conflict on the wall. According to Mion, this assembly building had been used as the headquarters of the dam protests back in the day. There was a huge flag that said, it's translated as Onagafuchi Guardians, but I still prefer saying ODA because it's easier for the Defense Alliance, which is what it was called in Chapter 4. A huge flag that said ODA hanging on the wall. People had written messages on it. I'd been called to the meeting so I could introduce myself. Well, I'd been chosen to be the host of the auction several days ago. This is my first time actually attending a meeting. There were about 30 committee members in the room, and my dad and I were introduced to them. Since I'm still a minor, I had to bring him along with me. I'd often heard the term parental rights recently because of Satoko's situation, and because of that I've been thinking about the relationship between me and my dad. My Maebara family is a pretty happy one, I think. I'm blessed to have parents like them. Hello, I'm Keiichi Maebara. This is my first time doing something like this, and I'm very nervous, but I'll do my best. Hear. You do your best, young man. The friendly smiles and applause made me realise again how welcoming people are in this village. I felt prestige as I thought about how big of a responsibility I was going to undertake at the festival. Since I looked so nervous, the leaders of the committee all came up to me and said that I could just act natural and do my thing. Sorry if you can hear the alarm, not alarm, woo-woo, siren, that's it, over my headphones. Or over the mic, rather. Thank you for offering my son such an important position. I'm sorry that I'm unable to participate in council activities due to my job, but I'll do whatever I can to support my son. Clap, 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 clap. My dad must be used to making speeches. Alright then, we'll break up into groups and start the meeting. It's going to last until 8:50. Please begin your discussions as soon as you can. Festival committee can be broken up in different teams, like a general affairs team, a construction team, a refreshment booth team, and a ceremony team. Each team has separate meetings. My dad and I were told to join the event team. But after all, we joined toward the end without knowing anything, and the festival was next Sunday too. I didn't understand anything they were saying, and I couldn't even express my opinions anyway. Nodding and pretending to participate in the process was the most we could do. Near the end, I finally got the information about the auction I needed. I found out what time I was supposed to be backstage and other stuff about my job like that. They asked me what I was going to wear and I stopped short. I thought I could just wear regular clothes, but they thought I should wear something more flashy since I was the host of the event. But I don't have any clothes like that. How about a suit with a bow tie? That would make you look like a real MC. A bow tie? So embarrassing. I want something more casual than that. How's the meeting going, Keiichi? What you talking about? They're talking about what he's going to wear during the auction. If you don't have anything flashy to wear, I can get you something like that. Really? Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't introduced myself yet. I'm Keiichi's father. Dad, I don't trust him to get me proper clothes. Bow tie is fine. I'll just wear that. If I didn't compromise on that, Irie and Mion would try and make me wear something outrageous. She'd also want me to wear women's clothes. Part of the committee too, huh? Which team are you on? He's on the general affairs team, where he's in charge of first aid. We always ask him for his help since he's a doctor and all. All I have to do is give band-aids to people who trip and fall. It's an easy job. For the most part, I'm just drinking beer under the main tent. Nothing compared to your work, Maebara. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. I'm going to drink barley tea with him too. Nippa. You absolutely cannot, Mr. Uribe. Oh, good evening, Maebara. Nice to see you too, Mr. Maebara. Hello, ma'am. Thank you for being so nice to my son all the time. Maebara, are you ready for the auction? I'm looking forward to seeing your show. Felt weird to see Miss Che and the principal outside of school. Rika, you're performing a dance at the festival, right? I heard it's right after my show. I'm looking forward to it. It's a traditional ceremony that she's performing. I'm sure you're nervous about it, huh? How do you feel this year? I'm used to it now, so I'm fine. You've only done it once last year, but you're already used to it? I'm impressed. Maebara, it's been a while. Oh, Mr. Oishi, it's nice to see you. Have you been practicing Tsubame Gaeshi? We should play together. You won't get better unless you play every day, you know. You know how to play Mahjong, Mr. Maebara? Oh, he knows how to play, doesn't he? He's a pretty good player too. Perhaps we really should start playing Mahjong in our club now. We should go and crush every Mahjong player in the city. Mr. Oishi thinks I'm an experienced player since I was practicing Tsubame Gaeshi the other day. Why do people misunderstand me all the time? By the way, Maebara, I heard about that case. What case? About what you're planning to do tomorrow. A few of my staff members and I are going to be there as well. Mr. Kano and Mr. Tomitake are coming too. We can't bring that many people, but I hope you'll let us join you. That's so nice of you. Thank you so much. Every person counts. Yay. I'm sorry that we can't do much to help her, but we still want to do something. This is what Mr. Kano suggested. Takano? Yes, she wanted to help somehow. She feels bad she wasn't able to assist you the other day. Oh, are you talking about that rumour? One saying that Maebara's become the leader of a protest group or something? Even you know about it? You know about Stoko? Of course he does. He's very sensitive to rumours inside the village. Once again, another siren. I am sorry if you can hear it. It's only my job. I'm very aware of what's going on with Miss Toko. Mr. Oishi, what do you think about her case? Oishi is, after all, a police officer. Can you maybe have an option other than going to the CCC? I also think that going to the CCC is the smartest thing to do. Then you're also saying there's no way to save her before something happens? We would probably do the same. We'd meet with him and tell him not to harm her. I'm sure a professional social worker can do a better job than that, though. They take care of these abuse issues better than the police can. Police only take action after something happens, but the CCC can make a move before it does. Be a lot easier for us if we could arrest criminals before they commit crimes. However, we need to be very careful about who we arrest, you know? We don't want to lose our jobs. Not in today's America. In that sense, there's nothing wrong with them saying they want to wait and see for a while. Meep. Well, I don't think the CCC is being unreasonable. However, it must seem terrible from the point of view of those who know Stoko and Tepe. Oishi was exactly right. They must be assuming we're overreacting by making such a big fuss. It's only been a couple of days since he took her away, but that mindset can create huge problems. I'm sure they're going to call him tonight because we told him she's been missing school for 3 days. They'll ask him why she hasn't gone to school. Tepe might beat her up for that. I don't know. However, if he continues to keep her at home after the phone call, the CCC will probably make a move. I think they'll talk to him about it. So she might come to school tomorrow? That's possible. Tepe can't stay in Okonomiya for some reason. That's why he needs to stay at Stoko's house. I'm sure he doesn't want any further trouble. He can't stay in Okonomiya for some reason? That's right, for some reason. I heard he had some kind of money-related trouble. You don't know about that, Samazaki? I have no idea. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean, Mion? There's a reason he wants to stay in Stoko's house? Well, yeah. Tepe has money issues, so he can't live in Okonomiya anymore. He's hiding out in Hinamizawa until the trouble brews over. Seems weird to me that he's hiding in Hinamizawa for issues related to money, when I'm pretty certain it's because his girlfriend stole from the Sonozaki family, who are based in Hinamizawa. I would think they'd be more likely to fuck him up there. But hey, what do I know, huh? Then he should hide somewhere alone. Why would he try and drag Toko into this? You want Toko as your maid, right? It's the same thing. That's not right. Let's have some more comedy dialogue. Let's just ignore that pervert for a moment. When I say comedy dialogue, I mean it with inverted commas, BT dubs. Anything that I'm not comfortable saying out loud is because, I'm a fucking adult human being and I can apply judgment to the games that I play, and I can tell you that if I were editing this game, there are bits that I would take out with a fine-tooth comb because they're intended to be humorous, but they just seem weird. But that's just me, and you can have opinions that disagree, and that's fine. It me writing the video game? Someone else. So, Mr. Oishi, you think there's no choice but to let the CCC take care of it? I think that's the most realistic plan. There are certain steps you need to follow. When you take a piss, if you don't follow those steps, that's a gross way to put it. Disgusting old man. Sorry, I can't help you. But I do find Stoko's case unfortunate. I hope that everyone gets to have a happy ending. The CCC isn't going to make their decision regardless. Is going to make their decision regardless, but what you guys are doing isn't against the law either. What you're doing, Mebara, is not a mistake. Don't give up. Do all you can do. I'll support you too. Thank you very much. We went there yesterday and today, and we're going to go there tomorrow too. I believe we can save her as long as we don't give up. 3 days in a row, huh? Heard you took 20 people with you today. You're going to take that many tomorrow too? Keiichi is really talented when it comes to stuff like this. You'll be surprised. There's going to be 60 people tomorrow. Oh my, it's amazing. I can see you becoming an active labour union leader when you grow up. Head of our union is pretty deplorable. At that moment, I heard someone clapping. It was almost 9 PM. The meeting was over. Everyone returned to their seats and listened to each section head's report on what they discussed. You're incredible, Keiichi. You know so many people from the village. But there are even more people that I don't know. You sure? You were talking with so many of them. I really am impressed. They're such nice people. Maybe I should be more involved with them too. You should. Hinamizawa is all about helping each other. I know you're busy with your work, but you should be involved as much as you can. I'm going to talk with your mother about that, I think. That's it for the meeting today. The next meeting is, tomorrow. I'll see you all then. It'll be the last major meeting before the festival. Thank you for coming today. Chairman, will you give us some closing remarks? No, it's fine. Let's just go home and get some drinks. That's it for now. Let's meet tomorrow at the same time. Thank you. Haha. Everyone laughed at Mayor Kimiyoshi's closing remarks. We finished cleaning up and everyone began filing out the building. Even though it was a weekday, some of them were going out for drinks. Fucking ideal. God, I miss drinking with friends so much. Oh, I'm not even like that much of a social butterfly, but I miss just like being able to go to a bar and spend way too much on drinks, or like buying a cheap bottle of rum and a big thing of Diet Coke and like going around to someone's house and just drinking liquor all night. I miss going to the pub. Flails of desperation. They asked my dad to go along with them. My dad isn't an ordinary worker. He can sleep in if he wants to, as long as he makes his deadlines. Gee, they want me to come for a drink, so I'm going, okay? Sure, have fun. I'm heading home now. Going home alone was kind of sad, so I thought I'd walk home with Meal, but she was still lingering at the meeting talking with the mayor and other important people. She was probably busy with the festival being so near. As I contemplated whether to wait for her or not, Miss Higurashi came up to me. Good job at the meeting. How did you get here? I can give you a ride home if you want. I came here on my bike. Sorry, give me a sec. I can't read out loud and do other things at the same time. Issues with a cut that won't stop bleeding. I came here on my bike. Plus, I'm waiting for Mion. I see. You'll be waiting a while, though. They're discussing the trouble they had with the refreshment booth team. Trouble with the refreshment booth team? Seems like such a fun festival, but they still have some issues, huh? Oh, yes. It's hard to make adjustments this late. Shaved ice and yakisoba are always popular, so everyone wants to do those. But it'd be a problem if all the booths sold yakisoba, right? I need to make those kinds of adjustments so there'll be a variety of booths, but people get upset when they have to run a booth that's not going to make much money, you know? They suggest running the booths in rotation every year, but some people don't have enough staff to do certain kinds of booths, and other people claim their yakisoba is better than everyone else's. They also fight about locations and who to hire, etc, etc. I had no idea the preparations for a festival were so complicated. They sure as shit are, Keiichi. Everything needs adjustments. I guess it sounds like boring adult talk for a young man like yourself. But adjustments are necessary to make things go smoothly. What you're doing at the CCC is a secret adjustment, in a way. Stoko and Tepe don't even know about it. I guess you might be right, but we have no choice but to raise our voices. That's the only option we've got. No, I'm proud to see you do something like this. If I was your age, all I'd be able to think of is attacking him in the dark. Haha, man. Oishi must have had no other plans. Oishi must have had no other plans. He stuck around while I waited for Mion. There was no one else around at that time of night. It would have felt pretty lonely if he hadn't been there with me. I'm glad Oishi stayed to chat. We talked about Mahjong for a while. Its theory, techniques, and history. I rarely talked with a guy his age, so it was very interesting for me. It's nice to interact with people from a different generation sometimes. He's also a police officer. I was secretly hoping he'd give me a hint about how to save Satoko. In any case, I had to wonder what was taking Meal so long. By the time Mr. Oishi finished his second cigarette, I started to think that maybe I should just go home for the night. I think I'm gonna head home. Mion is taking too long. I have something big to take care of after school tomorrow. Going to the CCC, you mean? Yeah, I'm gonna fight until they come up with a plan to save Satoko. Consistency is important. This is all we can do. Mr. Oishi smiled upon hearing my passionate words. I bet the CCC understands your point by now. You know, there's a limit to what you can do, and it's important to know when to quit. If you go too far, it will only make things more complicated. But I can't just let Satoko suffer. Of course you can't. I'm sure the CCC won't leave her be either. They will help her. Might help her, but probably only after she gets hurt. If Satoko suffers irreversible mental trauma, it will be too late. Oishi took out his third cigarette. That meant he was going to stay here until he finished it. I didn't feel like waiting here with him, though. I just wanted to go home and relax so I could prepare for tomorrow. I'm going home now. You know, Maebara, there's something I wanted to tell you. The tone of his voice had changed slightly. Whatever it was, it sounded important. I stopped and turned back around to face him. Actually, you see, I don't think you should go to the CCC tomorrow. You've made your point already. But we need to do this so we can save Satoko. They aren't getting how urgent the situation is. We have to make even more of a fuss if that's what it takes for them to understand. I think we'll make a bigger impact if we go there 3 days in a row. You're trying to show them every courtesy, huh? Haha. But you know, Maebara, sometimes you should just let sleeping dogs lie. What? Let me make this clear. This isn't a warning from the police, and no one told me to tell you this. I'm just giving you advice, as your Mahjong friend. The word advice didn't sound pleasant at all. I felt myself frowning involuntarily. Do you know what the GCC is thinking? You guys showed up 2 days in a row and you brought 20 people with you today. They're afraid you'll show up again tomorrow. Haha, then why don't they just listen to us? I hope they're not planning to build a barricade so we can't get in the building tomorrow. No, they won't do that. Their job is to listen to these claims. They'll accept anyone who's come to make an appeal. They can't stop you from coming, no matter how many times you show up. They know that too. So they need to take care of the matter before you bring in more people and cause even more trouble. You mean, have they already made the decision to save her? Not quite. They've started making secret adjustments so that you can't come by to pressure them anymore. What do you mean? They made a secret adjustment so I couldn't bother them anymore? Felt confused, and then Mr. Oishi said something that almost sounded like a line from a political drama. These officials sometimes act a bit like the Yakuza. They don't want their badge disrespected. It's normal for them to ignore opinions opposing the decisions they've made, even if they realise their office is in the wrong. So if they listen to us, other people will come to the office to get their cases taken care of? That's exactly it. They don't want people challenging their decisions. They will listen to your appeal, but they'll never change their stance unless there's something odd going on. Plus, this time Toko's case is nothing special or noteworthy to them. He might have taken her away from where she lived, but it's a legal act since he has parental rights. It's not like a parent without custody forcing his child to live with him. After all, he's the only blood relative she has. There's nothing, legally speaking, that prevents them from living together. But that's not the case with Toko and her uncle. You know that too. You know how violently he abused her last year? That was last year. CCC can't do anything about it if he tells him he feels remorse over what happened then. More than anything, Satoko told him that he's not abusing her. It's because last year she relied on her brother and she deeply regrets overburdening him. So as far as she's concerned, seeking help feels like she's betraying her brother. I see. Might be very difficult to persuade the CCC in that case. Well, anyway, for reasons like that, the Centre can't understand why you and your group is pressing this issue so hard. We're just trying to let them know that Teppei is a violent person and that we can't let Satoko stay with him. But why? You weren't here in Hinamizawa last year. Don't think you know much about Teppei. Why are you so sure he's that dangerous? That was the hard question to answer. He was right. I didn't know much about Teppei. I'd never even seen his face. But I just know. Way back in a different world, I didn't save Satoko. I just stood by and I've seen the world where Satoko was irreversibly broken. We all cried and regretted it. I couldn't explain that to Oishi though. My friends had understood my premonition, but it's weird for someone to be so aggressive just based on what he saw in his imagination. I mentioned it earlier, but sometimes a divorced couple battles for the custody of their child. A couple can sue each other and sometimes relatives sue the couple too. Some of them decide to sue their partner not for the child, but just because they hate them. This case is a bit similar to something like that. It looks as though you're taking the actions you are because you hate Teppei. The CCC needs to determine if you're doing this out of hate or out of genuine concern towards Toko. Not all people go to the Centre out of goodwill like you. They can only make a decision after carefully determining if the information given by the petitioner is genuine or not. You need to understand that. So you're saying that because I was too direct with them, they've mistaken my appeal as one born of ill will? No, you don't have to worry about that. Just please try to understand that they have to evaluate it carefully. If they put a child on protection every time they got a report, the nation would careen out of control. That's right. I think there was a passage in the Civil Law book the Centre showed us that first day. Family or the prosecutor must make an appeal to the family court. Family issues have to be resolved within the family. An outside appeal might move the Centre to take action, but an outsider can't tell them how to respond. And when it comes to that, Toko's only family is her uncle. Since her uncle obviously wasn't going to do anything about this, Toko would have to seek help on her own. But Toko is denying she's being abused at all. Isn't going anywhere. Consultation Centre is simply hoping you'll give up. They have other cases that need more urgent attention, but they're not sure yet if they should ask you to give up. That's what I wanted to tell you today. What do you mean? I don't get it. Maybara, when you visited them today, did they treat you better than yesterday? A bit. You were taken to a bigger room and the manager came to see us too. You might think that the manager is ranked just a little bit above the regular staff members. However, his position is as high as a section chief in regular company. Very difficult to achieve that position. The person you talked to today is actually a very powerful man, more than you can imagine. It's not normal for them to do that. Manager normally never shows up for a consultation. You need to recognise that the treatment you got today was a special one. Never seemed that special to me. Thought we were taken to a big room because we went there with more people, and Raina told them to adjust to us. Because you were so well organised, they're suspecting you're not the actual leader, and that the Sonozaki family are the ones behind this movement. I'm sure you know how powerful the Sonozaki family is in the village. I do, but it has nothing to do with them. We're simply fighting to save our friend. Mion hasn't even mentioned her name. That's what the CCC wanted to know. It's their normal routine to politely refuse a huge crowd of petitioners. However, things would be different if this was Oryo Sonozaki's idea. Oryo holds great sway in the city's government. No one can go against her wishes. I'm aware that Mion's grandmother is very powerful, but that has nothing to do with this. In order to make that clear, the local government officials have approached the Sonozaki family in secret. They met Oryo and asked her about this case. They were going to take action if they found out that it was her idea, but they soon discovered otherwise. So they're not going to take any action anymore? It's not just that. Minagoroshi was now aware there's a commotion going on within the village. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but some people in the village still hold a grudge against the Higurashi family, the traitors of the dam conflict. Ever since the curse of Oyashiro-sama, the Sonozaki family has been telling people not to interact with the Higurashi family. Might wake up a sleeping dog if you continue to make all this noise. What happens if I wake the dog up? I don't know. I wish he paused for a while and drew in a short cigarette. I'm not saying you'll be threatened or that they'll hurt you. However, you just moved here and you're starting to get to know people from the village, but soon enough you might get to see the underside of this place. Issues between the Higurashi family and the Sonozaki family. Well, village-wide matters have been slightly taboo in our group, but we may have to go down that route now. It's a fact that we haven't got any support from adults, except for the school teachers in Irie. Other adults in the village must know what happened between Stoko and Tepe last year. They all understand that it would be a disaster if we don't rescue her as soon as possible. However, no adult came forward to help us. If we continue our movement, will the people who hate the Higurashi family become our enemies too? That's possible. Sonozaki family may have a hiccup if you continue this commotion. You could say that the Sonozaki family is anti-Honjo. If you try to save Satoko using people from Hinamizawa, that shows huge disrespect towards the Sonozaki family. It could create a problem. By that point I knew. This was a warning, not just advice. An ignorant young man in Hinamizawa is making noise, trying to wake up a sleeping dog. Emails. Every day I get emails. I know you've taken a liking to this place and that you're really doing your best here. That's why I thought I should let you know about this. I'm sorry if I upset you. I love Hinamizawa. I've made a decision to make this place my home. I'm motivated about the big job I got for the festival too. Would it really be wise for me to create all this trouble? I'm just speaking as your friend, nothing more. I'm not trying to threaten you or anything like that. I'm not trying to make you do anything you don't want to. I just wanted to give you this information. Oishi smiled at me, then stopped on a cigarette. Thought I'd just made the decision to do what was right. Was that the only the stupid idea of an ignorant little boy? Did I need to grow up right now and think about this again? Dark clouds hung over my heart. But wait a minute. Did that mean I didn't even have the courage to risk losing something? Was I not brave enough to save her at all? I had to be the red fire. I couldn't give up, even if everyone else did. I had to fill other people up with the righteous flames, just like I was. What's the matter? What a bold smile you're wearing right now. Thank you for the valuable advice, but I can't give up, no matter what you tell me. I won't stop even if the whole world tells me to. Even if the whole world is against you, huh? You're a stronger man than I thought. The whole world is telling me I'm making a mistake. I'll have to stop and reevaluate myself. However, I've already talked about Stoko's case with my friends over and over again. This isn't just my idea. I'm confident that our decision is the very best one to make. I agree with you, Maebara. Young people like you tend to make hasty and dangerous decisions. However, all of you are being very rational about this. You're making a democratic appeal. Just like Dr. Irie was saying, there's nothing wrong with your methods. I know. I'm positive we're not making any mistakes. We're doing our best to save our friend. We're not going to give up just because we feel threatened. We are her true comrades. I have faith in us, even if the rest of the world doesn't. That's what friendship's all about. You have a strong will. Not even my detectives are as strong as you are. Oishi gave me a wicked grin of admiration. I could tell from that grin. He wasn't trying to pressure me at all. It was exactly the opposite of that. He'd shared this information with me to confirm that I was ready to face the challenge. I didn't even have to consider whether his words were advice or a warning. Every man has many things he wants to keep believing in, even if others don't share that belief. Of course, it's important to listen to advice with sincerity, but some beliefs you still can't turn away from. That's what being a man is all about. Hoo-hoo. I also have a strong will, you know. About 5 years ago, a person who was like a brother to me was killed. He was murdered? The case was declared solved, but I'm continuing an investigation alone because I suspect there's another person in control behind the scenes. The department told me I was wasting my time. They told me to stop, but just like you, I can't give up. You're getting close to finding out how to do that? I really have forgotten how to speak out loud. I'm sorry. I don't know about that. Anyway, if your resolve is that strong, then there's nothing for you to fear. Just follow through in your beliefs. I'm often threatened to show more restraint if I want to keep my full retirement paid to myself, but I've never given in. There's a lot of things we men can't convey without being unwavering. My, exactly right. We can't give up no matter how risky it will be. It's important to pursue your goal. Even if you end up playing into their hand, that's what being a man is about. If you're going down, then go down fighting. You're right. Waffling between whether or not to go or go back isn't the attitude of a real man. It's how a man should be. We bumped our fists together, reaffirming that real men are the same regardless of their generation. Roll's eyes. It wouldn't be a simple road to saving Stoko, but I was never going to give up. I was going to save her. I had no doubt about that. Boy, howdy do I hope that you are. Every day of my life. Uni tips. Please hold on for a moment. I'll get here. Miss Orio, someone from the municipal government is calling. Hello? Hello, Miss Sonozaki. This is Aida from the municipal government. Thank you very much for the ohagi the other day. You're quite welcome. Thank you for your work at the culture festival. Also for providing that large parasol. How much does that thing cost? We use it every year, so we might as well buy one ourselves. We borrowed that one from a teacher. I checked out the price, but the domestically made ones cost about 200,000 yen. I also found one made in China, and it's less than half the price. I don't care if it's made in China or not. Just get one so we don't have to cause any trouble for the teachers. We're actually ordering it already. Once it arrives, you might want to take a look at it and make a final decision. Also, we've been holding the same Edo-style tea ceremony for the past 3 years. We should probably get an instructor from a different style. Can you look for a new instructor for next year? Oh, I see. Will do, ma'am. We'll find a different tea ceremony instructor. About that, advisor, I had something to ask you about that. And here's me going on a parasol. So what do you need? We were wondering if you'd heard anything about the case of Satoko Hojo in Hinamizawa. Satoko Hojo? Huh? Talking about that blasted Hojo girl? What did she do? Well, she's recently moved in with her uncle, but she's being abused, apparently. Have you heard anything about it? Her uncle? Stoker's being abused? Never heard of anything like that. Well, if you don't know, that's okay. To tell you the truth, someone from Hinamizawa came to petition the CCC. According to the centre, that petitioner was very persistent. Manager felt it was better to talk with you if you already knew about it. Don't know anything and I don't care. Why would I do anything for that pitiful child? Sonozaki family has nothing to do with this. Have you heard anything about it from the town council? No, what are you saying? Kim Yoshi was helping that blasted Hojo child, then the Sonozaki family would know about it. Who was petitioning the CCC? I heard some of her classmates were there. Well, as far as I know anyway. I guess it's just something her classmates are doing, and the village has nothing to do with it. Of course not. Don't know anything. Village has nothing to do with Satoko. Contents of the conversation were forwarded to the CCC. Foria wasn't behind the commotion, and they had no need to take the case seriously. Manager told us staff to listen to what the petitioners have to say, but to never say anything promising the girl's safety. Keiichi Maebara, huh? Guess a boy like that will grow up to be a political advocate in the future. You love to see it. Love to see it. It's been 3 days since he told her to stay home. He got another call from that annoying teacher again, so he yelled at her and hung up the phone. That woman is too persistent, Tepe thought. She won't give up that easily. He was sure she called the CCC again. Biggest reason why Tepe refused to let Stoko go to school was his fear that she'd seek help when going there. She pretended like nothing was wrong when the social worker from the consultation centre showed up, but that was only because he was right beside her. She'd probably betray him as soon as she got her chance. Then the consultation centre would show up immediately. No, maybe even the police would come and get him for assaulting Stoko. One of his friends had told him the CC works with the police sometimes. Tepe had a lot of weight on his shoulders. If the police came, they'd end up questioning him about the other trouble he was involved in. He couldn't let that happen. All he needed was the money. Tepe could leave this awful village behind as soon as he found his brother's bankbook. Tepe usually stayed at home as he found the way the other villagers looked at him unpleasant. So when playing Mahjong with his friends, he played it at Stoko's house. But Mahjong requires at least 4 people. When Tepe couldn't get that many people to come over, he just stayed home alone and watched TV instead. He started using his ample free time to sniff around the house for his treasure. Stoko would end up cleaning the mess he made. Besides, it wasn't his home anyway. What did it matter to him how much furniture he broke? He cleared out the closet and went up to the attic. He also pulled out all the chests and searched them thoroughly. His wife had been a pretty clever woman. She must have hid it somewhere very unusual. This piano is just reminding me a lot of Final Fantasy song, and I wish I could remember which one it was. I'll remember it in a minute, I think. He messed up the whole first floor and went up to the second floor to search some more. The next moment, Stoko went and tried to tackle him. Not Nini's room. The hell? No, you can't go inside Nini's room. Tepe immediately assumed she was hiding the bank book in there. He threw her off and forced her way inside the room. However, Stoko tried to stop him with all of her might. It was amusing for Tepe to see Stoko resisting him to that extent, but it also surprised him a little. He asked her why she didn't want him to go inside Satoshi's room. That room belongs to Nini. Nini will be hurt if he comes home and sees his room destroyed. Don't want me there just because it's your brother's room? Don't even know if he's still alive. Nini is alive. He will come back home. Okay, I have to look this up now. Theme songs. Here we go. I think it's Dragon Song it's making me think of, but I'm not sure. Whatever, I'll stop looking at Final Fantasy lyric themes at the moment. And I'll try and remember what it is, because the problem is I can hear the voice going in my head, but not the words she's singing. Nini is alive. He will come back home. Don't destroy his room. What are you saying? I'm not going to destroy the room. I'm just trying to clean it up. Why would you have to save this room for someone who's not here anymore? I think it's Dragon Song I'm thinking of. I just need to clean it up. No, you can't. Nini. The hell? Really don't want me to go inside, huh? Stoko's crazed behaviour convinced him he should stop provoking her for the moment. While Tepe was very talented at threatening people, despair makes cowards courageous. If he ignored Stoko and tore apart the room, she might just run away. He didn't want Stoko to be nearby, but he also couldn't let her run loose. Fine then. Promise to be a good girl, I won't go inside this room. Alright? Got it? Yes. But if you make me mad, I'm gonna rip this room apart. If you escape from this house or tell people about what's happening, everything in there is gonna end up in the garbage. Get it? Yes. Thank you for giving me a chance. Tepe was sure the bank book was inside Satoshi's room, but Stoko would lose it if he went inside. He wasn't pleased about the promise he made with her, but at least it would keep her under control. Might not hurt him to send her off to school. If he kept her home again tomorrow, that teacher might come to the house with the police in tow. He was only keeping her at home because he was afraid that Stoko would talk to other people. If she wasn't going to do that, it'd be better for him to send her to school. He could sneak into Satoshi's room while she was out. Stoko, you've been a good girl, so I guess your cold is all better now. Go back to school tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. He was the one who told her to say thank you when he gives her approval to do something, but it annoyed her to hear her say it over and over. Get out of my sight, little brat. So annoying. Check a thing quickly. So at the end of this, we've got the staff room and the chat. So that was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so we've got 11 more chapters. Each one takes about an hour and a half, so I'm guessing next Thursday we'll do these two. And then we'll finish it off the Thursday after that, I guess. Trying to decide if it's worth starting chapter 8 or not, given that I'll have to take at least a week's break. I really don't know. Might play something else after I finish this. It's like a Christmas special thing. I don't know. Let's keep going, shall we? By the way, the achievement this time is Underside. Let's break that curse in two. The CCC had finally contacted Stoko's uncle after finding out she was missing from school for 3 days in a row. I'm sure it's because of our efforts that Stoko was able to come to school today. However, we couldn't really celebrate after seeing her painful expression. Stoko, we were so worried about you. You sure nothing happened to you these past 3 days? Really did have a fever the whole time. I'm sorry for making you all worry. She started telling us why she hadn't been at school. Nobody had even asked her that. Her uncle must have told her to say that to everyone. It's so painful to see her like this. Raina seemed more angry than sad. Inside, I felt the same way. Felt like my ankle was boiling up and lodging painfully in my throat. He was only letting Stoko come to school because he was now certain she wouldn't do anything that would put him at a disadvantage. He was treating her like a tamed animal. Was it too late already? I thought the broken Stoko I once saw in my imaginary world. Stoko, do your best, okay? Of course I will. I'm doing well, even though Nini isn't here with me. I slowly reached out my hand towards her head. As a reward for doing your best, I'll pat your head. Do you mind? She didn't reply, but she didn't refuse ever. I slowly put my hand on her head. She didn't react to it, but a tear rolled down from her eye all of a sudden. Was she crying because she didn't want to be touched? No, that wasn't it. Rather, it was the opposite. If I stopped patting her head, I'd hurt her feelings. Stoko felt obligated to survive without her Nini. That didn't mean she didn't want anyone else's help. She couldn't appreciate my patting her head openly. She had no choice but to cry in silence. Stoko, we won't tell anyone if you cry right now. After Raina said that, Stoko started crying like a baby. I felt relieved knowing that it wasn't too late. She hadn't yet suffered from the fatal emotional wound that I saw in my imaginary world. However, her tears made it clear that I needed to save her as soon as possible, no matter what the world might say to me. Stoko, everyone is going to help save you. I promise you that. Stoko, we weren't just doing nothing for the past few days. Right, Keiichi? Right, we're making an appeal. We're asking them to save you. You don't have to do that for me. It's not just us. Right, Tomita? It's not just me either. Okumura and the whole class are fighting for you. Tomita and Okumura change voices every time they come on screen because I forget which one has which voice. Probably don't even sound that different. I'm not very good at this. That's right. We all went to the CCC together. We're going today too. Right, Maebara? Yep. We're not going to give up until we save you. All the boys and girls answered all the people in the class answered my call with their cheers. Stoko seemed a little surprised, but soon became expressionless again. Is that why the social worker came to my house? That really wasn't necessary of you. Stoko, did he hurt you because of that? She wouldn't answer. I couldn't tell what the silence really meant. Soon after, Miss Chie entered the classroom. She must have heard the noise we were making. Hojo, are you feeling better now? We didn't know for sure if she was really sick or not. All of us, including Miss Chie, were feeling the same thing. Yes, I'm fine. I'm sorry for worrying you. Everything is alright now. Will you be attending school regularly from now on? Yes. You don't have to continue worrying about me. You don't have to talk to any more social workers. Oh, Joe, if you feel overwhelmed, you can come and stay with me. I'm on your side, okay? You are welcome at my house any time. Hey, Monsieur, don't like that you're the only one who can help her. Stoko, we're all on your side here. That's right. You can come to my apartment too. We have an extra room, so you can use it as your own. She can't do that. Stoko is my pet. She has to come back to my house. Bah. See? You're not alone. Everyone is trying so hard to save you. But I don't know if the people at the CCC will ever understand how we feel. If what Mr. Oishi told me yesterday was true, then once they learn this isn't the will of all Hinamizawa, once they learn it's only her classmates creating a stir, they might harden their stance against us. All we had planned was to go there with more people and ask for the same thing. The CCC was going to say the same thing to us too. I have a problem which is that I really want to, I presume it's all going to end terribly just because it's chapter 7 and I think, to my knowledge, chapter 8 is the only one that has, good ending. The others obviously have an ending that goes from bad to worse, after bad things have already happened. My brain just fizzled out for a second there. I really want to look up what's going to happen so that I know and I'm not in suspense, but I also at the same time really don't want to look up what's going to happen so that the story actually surprises me, you know? Hashtag struggle. We're going to say the same thing to us too. It wasn't going to be any different from yesterday. They tell us that it's only normal for her uncle to take care of her because he's legally her guardian. They'd also tell us there's no proof of any abuse happening. And why do they think that? Because Toko won't admit she's being abused. I appreciate your kindness, but I'm fine. That's a lie. Raina spoke with a smile, but her words cut sharp. You're not okay, Satoko. You're not fooling us well enough. All of us here and many people know that you're in pain right now. That's why we're doing our best to stand up and help you. We're reaching out our hands so we can save you from the struggle. But we can't save you without you helping too. She's right, Satoko. No matter what we say to the centre, they'll tell us that there's no abuse because you're denying that it's happening. We all want to help you, but we can't if you don't accept our help. I understand. I was just like you once. I thought no one could help me. I thought whatever I was doing was the only thing I could do. That's why I didn't even accept my friend's help. But someone taught me something. Can't even remember who it was, but someone taught me something. The world you want most is right in front of you, but you won't get there unless you take our hands. It doesn't mean anything if we're the only ones reaching out. Stoko, you have to reach your hand to us too. We can take each other's hands and return to the world we wish for. Raina, who told you that? I don't remember. I think I heard it before I went to kindergarten. Can't remember who told me that. But I can still clearly remember that feeling. I'm here because of what that person taught me. I agree. Whoever it was who taught that to Raina, they weren't wrong. Stoko, do you think it's better not to ask for help? You think that's the best thing you can do, but you're wrong about that. Look at yourself in the mirror. Is that the face you want to wear? I'm sure it's not. You don't want any part of this world. We can bring you back to the world you want to live in. We're reaching our hands out. Those hands are almost touching you, but we just can't reach far enough. If we could, we'd pull you by the hair to get you out of this mess, but we can't make it. So you have to reach out your hand too. Our hands are right here. They're right in front of your nose, so take them. If you just reach out your hand, we could pull you up into a happier world. Satoko wouldn't reach out her hand. She just stared at mine as though praying for something. Her fingers were shaking, but Satoko wouldn't try and reach her hand towards mine. I felt like screaming out loud in anger, but I didn't want to scare her. If I did that, she'd never trust me again. All I could do was wait for her to reach out her hand. Thank you very much. Really, I do appreciate it, but I really am perfectly fine. Satoko. She needs more time. Satoko needed time to sort out her feelings, but her time limit was getting closer and closer. It was unfortunate that Satoko didn't even realise that herself. The next moment we heard someone approaching our classroom. By the sound of footsteps, we could tell it was the principal, and so I couldn't tell why Satoko was twitching like she just got electrocuted. The door quickly opened and the principal strode inside. He seemed relieved to see Stoko back in school. However, Stoko reacted both dramatically and bizarrely. She let out an inexplicable scream, ran to the back of the classroom and hid behind the curtain. No one in the classroom could understand her actions. We never even considered it was because the principal had entered the room. Principal, however, realised it immediately. Stoko was scared to see him. "Oh, Joe, is everything all right?" He spoke in a kind voice, but Stoko was still afraid. It was plain as day to all of us that Stoko was frightened at the sight of the principal, but none of us could understand why. "Are you okay, Stoko? You don't need to be afraid. We're all on your side." My uncle is here." Everyone here thought for sure that Stoko's uncle had turned up to get her. We all rose up at once, shielded her in a circle and searched the surroundings. I had yet to see her uncle's face, but we were in school now. If someone unfamiliar showed up, I could spot him immediately. If he tried to force Stoko to leave, then forget everything else. I'd end the fight right here. Mion and Shion are thinking the same thing. However, while Stoko remained frightened, we couldn't find any sign of her uncle. Stoko was trembling as if he was already here inside our classroom, but there was no sight of him. Finally, I realised the truth. Stoko was frightened by the figure of the principal. I could understand she'd be scared of his footsteps, but she was still terrified after he showed his face. This was not normal. It was made clear to me how much stress she was dealing with. Rika hushed Stoko and whispered into her ear. "Valiant!" "It's okay. Your uncle isn't here. Your mean uncle isn't here." "But he's right there. My uncle is there. He's come to take me back home." "Calm down, Stoko. Did you take your shot today?" My uncle is here." Nini. Her shot? What are you talking about, Rika?" "Keiichi, she needs Irio's help. Just tell him that Stoko is in an emergency. Hurry up. Chie, let's take her to the nurse's office." "What's wrong, Stoko?" "Stoko? Let's call the coach. She needs to see a doctor. Does anyone have his number?" "I do. Let's go use the phone in the teacher's office." I headed to the nurse's office after I asked Mion to make a phone call to the doctor. There were lots of students surrounding the office. Miss Chie was forcing out the other kids who'd entered the room with them. I snuck behind her and entered it myself. Stoko was lying down on the bed, still shaking with fear. Reina and Rika were there with her and were trying to calm her down. I spoke quietly so as not to scare her. "Is she okay? What's going on?" I don't really know, but she's very scared. She thought the principal was her uncle." Hearing that made it easier to understand, but it was still hard to believe. He'd been right in front of us and had spoken to her in such a kind voice. It was really hard to believe she couldn't tell it was the principal. "When there's a dark spot on the wall, what does it look like to you?" "What?" "People who hate flies will think it's a fly. It may look like a spider or a cockroach if that's what you hate. People tend to sense something they don't like when they can't really tell what that something is." She thought of her uncle when she heard the principal's footsteps, but she was still scared even after he showed up. The illness Stoko has prevents her from correcting those misassumptions easily. Misassumptions. What does she mean, illness? I tried to ask Rika that, but Stoko was becoming even more frightened. Unfortunately, in my brain, all I can play is the song Car Chase Horror from M83. I think that's what it's called. Hiccups. It's Car Chase Terror. It's words. It's not, I would say, a good song, but it definitely is a song. Rika gently held her hand and tried to calm her down. Reina tapped my shoulder. She was indicating to me that we should leave Rika and Stoko alone in the room. I agreed with her. Stoko was in tremendous shock. "We're going back to the classroom for now." "Yes, please do." Reina and I left the nurse's office. My classmates were still asking Miss Chie about Stoko's condition. As soon as they saw me, they walked over and asked how she was. "Let's leave it up to Rika for now. Stoko is very frightened. Please don't do anything to make her afraid. She will only get more scared if we continue to make this much noise." "Let's go back to the classroom. Coach will be here soon and he'll take care of her. You called him, right, Mion?" "Yeah, He'll be here right away. He said to let Rika take care of her, and not let her out of the nurse's office. Get back to the class, everyone. We're going to start homeroom. While the teacher took our attendance, a car arrived on the school premises. Everyone's attention was drawn to it. 3 people with white gowns came out of the vehicle. Irie ran into the school in a hurry. We were surprised to see 3 people show up. It made us all worry that Stoko was in worse shape than we'd realised. Miss Cheer felt the same way. She left the class to Mion and hurried to the nurse's office. Something weird made a noise, but I don't know what it was, so I'm going to ignore it. Despite her worries, Stoko returned to the classroom about 10 minutes later. She was still as depressed as she was in the morning, but she was no longer in a state of panic. Stoko, voice, dying. You okay now? I think you should rest some more. I'm sorry for scaring you. I'm fine now. Stoko seemed bothered by the way we were worrying about her. Miss Che also returned to the classroom. At the same time, I snuck out so I could talk to Irie and her staff. Bear with me for a second. Sorry about that. It does also remind me that I need to fix my Stream Deck buttons because I walked them somewhere. I saw him talking with Rika. Oops, wrong button. Let's see if I can do this and read at the same time. Coach, is Satoko really okay? Mebara. Yes, she's fine for now. We should keep an eye on her though. It was just a little panic attack. She's all good now. Just a panic attack? Are you sure? You were saying that Stoko has some kind of illness. Bear with me, I'm just going to check something. Oops. Hit the wrong button. Well, I should be going. Please call me if anything happens. Coach bowed and left without making any comment. It was like he was avoiding my question about Stoko's condition. Sorry about this, I'm trying to... Okay, well, whatever I do, I cannot seem to make this work how I want it to. So... Hang on, I may have done it. Nice, you love to see it. Basic competence. I'm sorry for the like flicking on and off of music there. I was making sure I'd got my buttons right. Keiichi, can you promise to keep a secret? What? Oh, sure. Stoko's been sick since a few years ago. She's been getting treatment for that illness for a long time. It was surprising to hear that. That meant she was already sick when I first met her. I'd never seen any sign of that though. The disease can't be cured easily, but she can live a normal life as long as she gets proper treatment and medication. I see. It sounds like it's under control. I had no idea she was sick until you just told me about it. She should be fine, right? She was hardly in a good condition, so that makes me hesitant to use the word fine. What kind of disease could Stoko have? Based on what I saw earlier, she might have a mental illness rather than a physical one. Might be because of how she was abused in the past. I've heard that mental trauma is not easy to cure and that it needs medical attention at times. That must be what's going on with her. Sorry, distracted. Stoko has to take 2 shots every day. Since her uncle was bullying her, she forgot to take a shot this morning. You mean Stoko becomes emotionally unstable if she doesn't take them? Rika nodded quietly. Really, it was quite a shock. The Stoko I know is an energetic and mischievous girl who's always bouncing around like a super ball. I couldn't believe she turned into a scared little animal just by forgetting to take a shot. She becomes very afraid when she doesn't get her shots. When something happens suddenly or when she hears a strange noise or sees something unusual, she feels like there are things that are coming to harm her. So she thought her uncle came to the school when she heard the principal's footsteps. That's right. Once she convinced herself it was the footsteps belonged to her uncle, that became the truth for her. Even after she saw the principal's face, her mind told her it was her uncle. You said she can't organise information quickly enough. Is that what her illness is about? I don't even know what the disease is called. I feel so bad for her. I had no idea she'd been fighting this condition for so long. That poor girl. Keiichi, please don't tell Stoko anything about her illness. Why not? I guess I shouldn't ask. Might not be a nice thing to talk to her about her mental illness. I guess that's what she's trying to tell me. She came back to the classroom, but is she okay now? Iria gave her an injection, so she's alright for now. She's seriously sick to the point where she requires a doctor's attention. I realised something in the next moment. Hey, maybe we could have her be hospitalised. We can force her to stay in hospital even if she refuses. That way we can save her from her uncle. Yeah, that's a great idea. Iria suggested that before, but Stoko refused. It's not about her refusing or not, if the doctor tells her to stay. Keiichi, if Stoko doesn't go back home, her uncle is going to get rid of her Nini's ring. What? Stoko feels obligated to protect the Hojo residents until Satoshi comes home. He was taking advantage of her? Teppei was telling her he'd get rid of Satoshi's ring if she didn't stay with him? That's horrible. Please don't tell anyone about this. She is not good at controlling herself, so she might get very angry about this. She brought up Shion, but I was also furious about it. I'm wiggling around because my leg is going stiff. I should have gone for a walk today, but I didn't. I was lazy and now I'm paying the price. Through leg stiffness, my worst enemy. I tried to calm down though. I needed everyone's help in order to save Satoko. I couldn't ruin everything by acting foolishly. I had no time to stop. Damn it. If Satoko asked us for help, we could help her right away. Just because she hadn't asked didn't mean she didn't need it.
Come on in, Chuck.
Hello, nom nom. Thank you very much for the raid. It is very much appreciated. How are you? I hope you're doing well. What does I hit the wrong bloody button? Desperately hope I spelt your name right there. I did, but I didn't type my bloody command right. There we go. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. We, as you can see, I still, unfortunately, haven't watched it. I really need to get down and watch that. Might just wait until the whole thing comes out and binge it. That's the sort of person I am. Although I've heard it's sort of a retelling of the anime. I don't know, I'm not... It's cool. I mean, I don't mind watching subs. I actually prefer watching subs because I need subtitles for everything, otherwise I can't process it. It's more that it takes me ages to watch or get down to doing anything, so... Yes, we are in the middle of Minagoroshi. It is the day when, in the evening, we are going to bring 60 people to the CCC. Satoko has just come back to school and had a panic attack. And I am wavering between wanting to look up what happened so that I can stop being, like, worried, and also not wanting to know so that I don't spoil myself, because I'm really bad for that. So, that's where I am at the moment. And hello to friends. I just waved at my camera like I've got my camera on. Friends from on stream, there's me and Mochi. Yes. I know I shouldn't, but it's so tempting. Ugh. Oh, the temptation is real. Especially given that there's going to be a probable break in the middle of me playing Chapter 8, because I'll be going away for a week, so... This is what I do for, like, TV shows and horror movies I don't think I'm going to watch anytime soon, is I just read the whole synopsis so I have a vague understanding of, like, what's going on. She told you that he's threatening her, right? Well, let me click into the right window. Can't we take that as an SOS? Rika nodded slightly. Keiichi, we don't have much time left. That I was all too aware of. She had a panic attack just because she didn't take her shot this morning, but if she stayed in the current environment, it'd be too late to save her in a matter of days. I have a panic attack if I don't take my pills in the morning, so like, big mood, right? I saw her feature when I saw Satoko crying behind the curtain this morning. This is the third day. We have 10 times more people on our side than we had on the first day, but we're not going to stop there. Keiichi, it won't be that easy to save Satoko. I've tried many times before, but never succeeded. Really? You don't remember, but you were different this time. I think you're getting very close to saving her. I believe you're someone who can defeat fate. What did she mean when she said I didn't remember? I didn't have time to ask questions, though. Yeah, you're right. I'll defeat fate. Just watch me. My assumption is it's all going to go terribly wrong, because that's how it so often does in these games, but... you never know. A huge crowd had formed in front of the library. It was hard to believe that over 50 people had assembled in front of such a quiet place. Okay, things are getting interesting today. That's Maebara. He's our leader today. Glad to meet you. Kameda had brought a bunch of athletes with him. They were all very tall and full of spirit. Being greeted by a bunch of big people at once made me feel uncomfortable. I shouldn't feel so intimidated. Commander Kantak bashful in front of his troops. Following after them were our nameless comrades who sympathised with our plight at Angelmore. I hate to say it, but I never expected any of them to actually show up. Seeing them all here to support us made me feel glad. They seemed plenty pumped up too, raising up fervorous cries. Kameda did so much for me. He brought not only his teammates, but also the people from Angelmore. I couldn't thank him enough. Don't worry, Kay, we're all brothers at Angelmore. I heard from the people who went to the dessert fiesta that the dessert named Innocent Blue Sunday is the best one. Eat it together this summer. Keiichi, this is incredible. You gathered this many people by yourself? Watch us in the middle of doing a speaking. I forget which voice I have for a character. Okay, in all caps. Hello. I never expected you to get this many people here. Good job. Tomitake? Takano? Why are you two here? Oh, you didn't know? They told us they'd come at the meeting last night. The coach was supposed to be here too. Sorry I made you wait so long. I'm sorry for being so late. Took me a while to leave the clinic. Wow. Coach, that's amazing. It's amazing. Coach had brought some sashes, headbands and banners with him. He was so well prepared. Sashes and headbands read, Save Stogo Hojo and the CCC must take action immediately. They were perfect for a protest. He'd brought lots of extras along too. Takano and Shion handed them out to other supporters. You know, Coach, I loathe that style of yours, but you've earned some respect today. You know, I really like these things. Not all 60 of us know each other, but when we all wear the same headbands, I start to feel a real sense of unity. It feels like I'm back at the damn conflict. People of Hinamizawa were wearing headbands and sashes just like these. It was like they were invincible. No one could make them stop. Mr. Tomatake was exactly right. Even the kids from Okonomiya were willing to wear their headbands. Wearing to will the headbands, yep. I'd forgotten how to speak, or read. It was like we were supporting a baseball team. Here, Rika, it took us a while to get all of these made. Irie. I'll do everything I can. I'll do my very best to help us rescue Satoko. Here, these are yours, Keiichi. Felt like a field trip yesterday, but today it's totally different. Yeah, I agree. I think showing up in greater numbers would intimidate them, but this has way more impact. Plus, really are important after all. It's just about time. Call us to attention, Captain. Captain? I'm just the person who set this up. Keiichi, you need to act more like a leader. Get up there and stand strong. Sorry for the flashing. I walked out in front of everyone while Tomitake took pictures. Everyone went quiet and turned their gaze to me. I felt so nervous, but at the same time, I also felt really thrilled to see all of our comrades here. Thanks for being here today, everyone. As you know, it's been 4 days since my classmate Satoko Hojo was taken by her uncle. How can he claim to be her legal guardian? He used to beat her, and he neglected her for a whole year so he could live with his lover here in Okonomiya. The CCC must urgently take care of this matter and save Satoko from him. However, they're putting her case on hold. They just don't understand how much of a hiccup this is. Pardon me. Today we're going to attempt our third appeal so as to get them to save her as soon as possible. For those who saw Satoko at school today, you should all know, she was at her wit's end after only 4 days. We can't leave her in that environment any longer. This is our third attempt. We have so many people on our side too. Let's let them know how important this is. We're not going to neglect our friend. Amazing. This really is the return of the damn conflict. Mibara wasn't even living here when that happened. This is quite interesting. There must be something about this village that brings people together. That's just the culture here, I think. Something like this happening was inevitable. I come from a city where neighbours don't even know each other's faces. I'm a little jealous. Fucking same. Actually, I know my immediate two neighbours and some of the guys across the road, but... like I did at home when I lived with my parents. I don't know that many of my neighbours now, but that's because it's an apartment block where you're not really supposed to socialise with people outside of your room, or outside of your apartment. That's a bit rich coming from someone who keeps complaining about the lack of trains. All units prepared for assault. Just skip over this. Everyone had that much figured before we'd even entered the building. They had to have heard what was going on outside. In fact, panic-looking people were staring at us out the window. Well, here goes nothing. Irie pushed me forward and I took the first step of our third attempt with a weight of 60 people on my shoulders. We went through the automatic doors and slowly crossed 20 metres to the counter. How will they take this? First day it was just a counsellor, yesterday it was the manager. Think we'll get the guy in charge today? I don't know. But I'm sure they'll understand just how much we care about her. Hello, how may I help you today? Same as yesterday. We're here to appeal for immediate action on behalf of Satoko Hojo. At the far end of the office, I saw the manager from yesterday talking to a guy sitting behind an important-looking desk. I could tell he was intimidated to see so many people. Shion said this was the day we'd finally close the deal, but I couldn't be that optimistic yet. To be honest, our current numbers were probably the maximum number of people I could get. So what would we do if things didn't work out today? I put up a brave front, but internally I was nearly cracking with anxiety. But looking at the hopeful, encouraging expression on Reina's face as she walked beside me helped me disperse those timid feelings. Reina might hold the very same worries inside of her heart. Everyone must be wondering if we can really save Satoko or not. But today, we were helping each other by hiding those wounds. This was unmistakably our team's strong point. We could never have gathered so much energy and strength if we were alone. That power can only be created when people work together. It takes forever for a drop of water to wear away at one rock, but a tsunami can break it into pieces in a second. The manager approached the counter. He started speaking to me, saying that as the meeting room wasn't open today, he couldn't let us all into one room. However, the head of the office was willing to see us, so we could use the reception area in front of his desk. Since the room is so small, however, he asked us to choose 3 representatives to come inside. I am truly sorry. We hope you'll understand this is out of concern for our visitors and show that you're willing to cooperate. We were here with all these people and they were only letting 3 of us inside. I wanted to refuse their offer, but Mion told me to take it. If we occupied the office with our numbers, they could fault us for obstructing their business. I think they're intimidated enough. The head of the office is willing to talk with you today. I think that's the best treatment you can get from them. They're all shaking like scaredy cats. Meow meow. Still, it's definitely a lie that meeting room isn't available today. I think so too, but Mion is right. I think they're intimidated enough. The head of the office is the top of the whole organisation. If he's willing to talk to us, we might have to compromise as well. If we refuse to see him, that will go on the record. We don't want them to be able to claim that we refuse to talk to him. I think we should make it clear that we're here to have a conversation. It's good to get suggestions from so many different people. If it was only me, I would have just gotten pissed off and left. That was probably not the best idea. Once again, I felt how important it was that we were a team. I understand. 3 of us will go talk to him then, but who should it be? Keiichi, you have to go. Other than you, I think Coach and Mion would be the best choice. If the head of the office recognises me, they'll think this is the Sonozaki family's doing. I can't let him think that since my family has nothing to do with the case. I'm really sorry, but it's those adult circumstances again. Saving Satoko is our fight. That old hag has nothing to do with this anyway. How about you, Reina? You should go and talk with them. I don't mind, but how about you, Rika? Me? As Satoko's best friend, I think you should be a representative. That's what I would have thought. Irie and Rika. That's who I would have gone for. Rika is a quiet girl, so it'd be hard for them to understand what she's thinking. However, she is Satoko's best friend. She has been living with her for the past year, as if they were family. She has the strongest bond with Satoko out of any of us. Right, Coach, Rika and me, we're going in. Roger, I'll get everyone under control. Mion winked at me and started explaining the situation to everyone else. I do love how intense this music is. I never thought I'd be chosen as one of the representatives. I'm not a very good speaker, so really Reina or Shion should have been picked instead of me, but I just couldn't refuse when they told me that Satoko's best friend should be the one to go. They told us to sit on the couch inside the visitors' room. The counsellor, the manager, and the head of the office were there. The way they treated us was improving every time we came. I didn't know if today's appeal would change anything, but I was starting to feel the direction of fate shift little by little. What do you think, Rika? Things have changed dramatically in only a few days. I have no idea what will happen next. Hanyu appeared beside me. It had been a while since she showed up. Hanyu was assuming we still wouldn't be able to save Satoko in this world either. She always felt it was best to just watch what happened without hoping for positive change. I'd been hurt so many times after being betrayed while hoping for change. Surely that wasn't good for my soul. I'd been beaten down over and over again. It's better to be quiet and do nothing. It's better not to expect change. That way, if something bad happens, I won't feel pain. Me. Pessimist POV. If you expect everything to turn out terribly, it will. Either it does and you're not surprised, or it doesn't and you're happily surprised. My fate was already a dead end. But was that really true? I did my best in many of my previous lives. However, I'd always acted alone. A miracle only happens when everyone combines their efforts. Sorry, once again, if you can hear me, like, rustling around, it's because my leg is going stiff. And I'm trying to find a way to say it that, like, stops that. Let me move the mouse out of the game as well. A miracle only happens when everyone combines their efforts. I was starting to feel the depth of what that meant. But even so, that didn't guarantee that we could save her. This was the best chance I'd had so far, certainly, but that still didn't prove anything. I couldn't call it a miracle just yet. A miracle is something far more dramatic. So this wasn't a miracle. It wasn't a miracle just yet. There was still someone else who needed to reach out for this to become a miracle. Everyone has been working so hard. They truly believe they can bring about a miracle. Who amongst them doesn't believe? Isn't there someone who's not reaching out a hand like everyone else is doing? Basically, it's because of Satoko that a miracle won't occur. Things won't change unless she starts seeking help herself. I know, but that isn't so easy for her. Everyone is trying to save Satoko, but she's not reaching out her hand in return. Before they even came here, they should have tried persuading her first. You think they should tell her to reach out a hand? Yes. I know that's not an easy thing for her. But it wouldn't be as difficult as waiting for another world. But it wouldn't be as difficult as waiting for another world as fortunate as this one. In any case, I'm the only one with a key to open her heart. I'm like family to her. I know she thinks the same. I'm not trying to brag or anything. Stoko is like family to me as well. No, my feelings towards her are even deeper than that. Might be only 1 year for Stoko, but I've spent decades with her. You know, I just realised something. I know why this isn't yet a miracle. Why is that? For a miracle to happen, everyone must come together, but someone is still missing. One person is still not working with everyone. That's why the miracle hasn't occurred. You're talking about Stoko? No, it's me. I'm talking about me. I'd just been observing them like a spectator. I'd been tired of this eternally repeating world and acted like a witch. I'd forgotten the powerful feelings needed to change fate. I love all this reference of acting like a witch because I'm going to play the game series that comes after this, which I constantly forget the name of. It's the one that my friend Lynn Theory is currently playing. Lynn has actually never played Higurashi, so every so often they'll send me a photo and will be like, ah, as we recognise some crossover between them. But the like acting like a witch, something I know from that. I know less about that game than I do about this game, other than that there's some crossover. And then I'm going to play it once I finish the console arcs for this game. Ouch. In other words, it was like I was supposed to be an actress, but was just sitting back and eating popcorn. I'm not a spectator. I'm one of the people on the stage, and that's why this play was never successful. In the world where Raina took over the school, if I hadn't done anything, Keiichi would have died in an explosion. Because I got onto the stage like I was supposed to, the play didn't end that way. I'm a part of this world too. Such an obvious thing, but I must have forgotten it a long time ago. I have to open up her heart. I have to set her free from Satoshi. I'm sure someone else can do that too, but I have the greatest chance of success. If I don't get up on that stage again, a miracle is never going to happen. Rika, you once did the same thing over and over again and got hurt, remember? Are you going to make the same mistake again? I'm aware of that, but I'll never end up in a world this fortunate again. The cheap resolve to try hard in the next world will just cause my efforts to reach a dead end somewhere else. Far more easily and in a more hopeless form than it will in this world. This is my last chance. If this world doesn't work out, then I'm going to give up. What? Hanyu looked at me with surprise. For us, the term giving up means a lot more than what it sounds like. It doesn't only mean that I'll accept my fate. It means that I'll accept the dead end waiting for me. In other words, accept my death. Oh. You know, regrets occur even when we haven't made an effort, you know? I was blessed with such a fortunate world this time. I mean, I never thought her uncle would come back, but overall this has been a very lucky life. And with this wind at our backs, I think I probably unfurled my sails as far as I can. That's why I believe this time will be different, and I also think that if this doesn't work out, nothing will. If that happens, I think I'll finally be able to give up. Oh, don't say that. Oh. I'm the only person who can communicate with Hanyu. If I disappear, she'll have to go on with her life all alone. That's the last thing Hanyu wants to happen. Perhaps that's why she says the things she does. She doesn't want my last word to wither away by being hurt emotionally. You see, I belong here in this play. You showed me how to enjoy watching it, but this play won't move on as long as I refuse to act. Surely that's why it always results in a dead end. Rika, I'm sure that one day you'll get another fortunate life where her uncle doesn't come back. I'm sure you'll roll an extra 6 next time. A fortunate one like this one, where Stoko's uncle doesn't come back? You're right, that really would be wonderful. Still, trying to beat my fate to death is another issue entirely. That sounds wonderful, but it's still not guaranteed. Let's wait for another opportunity. Please, please don't say that you're going to give up after this world. If I die, no one will ever hear you cry again. All you'll ever be able to do is make people sense your presence by making noise. Oh. Well, I'm heading back to the stage. I'm going to do what I can. You're sick of repeating all of this over and over again, aren't you? I'd rather repeat everything than spend the rest of my life without you. Apparently she thinks this time loop that's driving me mad is far better than having no one to talk to. Once again distracted by seeing movement out my corner of my eyes, and it's just my neighbours puttering around in the kitchen. I do love that this apartment block has giant windows so you can see into everyone's business if they don't have their blinds drawn. I always have my blinds open during the day for the fresh air. That's just how she feels. I want to overcome fate and see what's waiting in the future too, but it wouldn't mean anything if you weren't there with me. I'm sure that's similar to my own claim that there's no point in living past June 1983 if I'm the only one who does. My ideal future is to survive past June 1983 and let the happy times continue like always without anyone missing. Hanyu feels the same way. She doesn't want a world where I'm not by her side. We're repeating this world, only because we wish to do so. It wasn't just Hanyu's power, it was one that we shared together. Hanyu wants to be with me, just like I want to build myself a happy future. We both want the same thing. But if I refused to repeat that world again, my long life would be over. Yet I never refused, no matter how sick and tired of it I was. For over 100 years I kept believing that something good would happen eventually. However, our power is weakening, and we can only go back a few weeks at most. We have so little time left to try and change our fate. If we keep it up, eventually we'd only be able to go back to the morning of the day I was going to die. That'd be a dead end for sure. I don't think a life this fortunate will ever come my way again. If my time was unlimited, I'm sure that everything will eventually happen, but I can't count on it happening in the time I do have left. Hanyu told me to wait for another chance because she doesn't want to see me lose myself, but she isn't feeling the time limit like I am. It's a nightmare to die over and over again. Before I end up in that hell, I want to pull the curtain down with my own hands. This is going to be my last world. Man, this shit's super depressing. If this one isn't going to work out, I'm not going to repeat it again. Let me translate what she's trying to say. This world is no different from any other world. You're not going to win, so don't bet on this life. Your lifespan is not as short as you think. You should wait for your next opportunity in this endless tune. Stay with me until then. Stay with me and wait for the next chance. That's what you're trying to say, isn't it? Well, then why don't you just pray for us? Pray that we can persuade the Child Consultation Centre and save Satoko. Pray that I can defeat the fate of 1983. If I overcome this fate, let's do all the things I promised I'd do. Let's eat this year's watermelon while enjoying the evening breeze through the window. What kind of fall are we going to have? How much snow are we getting this winter? Let's enjoy the weather. Let's enjoy all sorts of things we've never seen. Let's watch the next episode of that TV show we like. Let's enjoy our future together. You always said we were going to work hard until that day came, but it's not fair for you to say that you're going to give up, when just this life doesn't work out. I'm sorry I couldn't keep that promise. Oh, I'm sure that we'll overcome this fate. You'll be there with me, Hanyu. Let's look up at the blue sky when that happens. I'm sure that the sky the summer of 1983 is more beautiful than any sky we've ever seen. I'm sure I'm going to make a miracle happen in this world. I just feel it in my bones that it's going to go wrong, because it always does, right? Never ends well. God didn't design humans so they could redo their lives over and over again like me. People usually only have one chance, yet they can still make miracles happen with effort. They work so hard because they know they'll never have a chance to do it over again. That's why miracles occur. But if I can't make one happen with all that, I'll just have to give up. I don't need another life. I'm going to make a miracle happen in this one. My friends taught me that. They taught me that miracles can happen when everyone works together. So it's going to happen. We will make it happen. We're going to have a wonderful future in this life. Rika. Hanyu disappeared, sobbing sadly. She was no longer on my sight, but I could still talk to her. Hanyu, we're going to have a bright future in this world. Just trust me. If you would just give me your power, it might be easier to make a miracle happen. This is the best possible stage I can hope for. The actors on the stage and the audience before it can help each other. If you wish, you, the audience, can change the story too. I've made my decision. I'm going up on the stage. Fourth wall be like, breaks. I'm not going to complain anymore. I'll do my best, just like Keiichi and my other friends. I'm not going to make any more excuses. I'm not going to wait for another fortunate world. I have to do my best in this one. I'm not talking about my decision to die after this world is over. I'm just saying that people are meant to have only one chance to live. That's why they work so hard. Because I had so many chances to redeem my life, I haven't been working hard enough. I was never able to make a miracle happen. In my previous life, Reina took over the school. Because I got in her way, Keiichi made it in time to stop the explosion. The story changed because I decided to get up on the stage. Perhaps in my other lives before that, I could have changed my situation if I worked hard enough without giving up. But I kept giving up so easily, and eventually lost my interest in those worlds. And so, a miracle never happened. A miracle never happened because I was always relying on the fact I'd have another chance. Hanyu, I hope you can understand. Please, don't be sad, and work hard with me in this world. I couldn't tell if she understood me. I assertively spoke to the officials about how much danger Satoko was in. Keiichi and Irie also made their appeals from the bottom of their hearts. I had no idea how the CCC took what we said so passionately. All I could do was pray. Got distracted thinking about how much I really want some of the mochi ice cream I have in the fridge. It's like horrendously sweet, but it is nice. You know? How was it, Keiichi? Well, felt like a repeat of yesterday. We both went over the same things we talked about then. Still not reaching them? I guess they said they'd look at matters more carefully. Pretty much. They said they would visit once a week and make a decision 1 month from now. They're going to leave her with her uncle for 1 whole month? How come they can't understand how much Toko will be hurt in that time? Maybara clearly explained to them the danger she's facing. I also told them about what happened to her last year. However, they're really not going to consider it an urgent case unless Satoko seeks help herself. I don't mean to cut into your conversation, but is it possible for you to get Satoko to ask for help? He said that he's going to destroy Satoshi's room if she tries to leave him. What a horrible thing to say. They're still not changing their minds. Satoko can't even ask for help because she's being taken advantage of. The purpose of a CCC is to protect children. We're starting to get angry the more I thought about it. But as I thought about it some more, I realised they were just trying to do their job. It was just that our opinions differed about the degree of urgency. We told them to save Satoko as soon as possible. They told us she should be the one asking for help. Is there any way to resolve this? Is there any way to get an SOS from her? This way. We spoke to them about it. It seemed like they were listening closely to us. But it also sounds like they're still not going to take any action. Damn it. When the head of the office showed up, I thought I could change things today, but everything went the same as yesterday and we still weren't able to persuade them. However, I'm sure we're making progress. It might seem like they're withstanding our blows at first glance, but they're feeling the weight behind them. We're not going to give up just because it didn't work out today. We're going to fight until they get off their butts and save Satoko. I told everyone we're going to do this again tomorrow too, but we might get less people next time. This is really annoying. We're working so hard, but this is all we can do? Damn it. We can't give up yet. We might have less people tomorrow, but we're not going to call off our 4th appeal. Even if no one comes, I'm going. I'm not going to give up until they agree to help her. Same here. I'm never going to give up. Thank you, Mion. I'll take whoever comes. Could see you guys from the window. Those banners must have looked really intimidating to them. I'm glad I stayed up all night to make them. Thank you for the sashes too, Irie. No problem. I wish I could do more than this. I'm going to get more involved. I was about to give up on saving her, but seeing Keiichi and Irie talking with the head of the office today made me feel motivated. Rika was always watching us from afar. Made me a little happy to see her getting more active in the whole movement. I wonder what she can do. Next time I see Satoko, I'm going to persuade her to seek help. I think I'm the only one who can do that. The same thing was on all our lines. The issue will be resolved the moment Satoko seeks help. But nobody can say that to her, because we all know she's dealing with the memories of her brother. Satoko, I know how you feel about Satoshi, but this is different. Please, ask the CCC to help you. As long as you're seeking help, they're ready to save you any time. Don't be afraid that your uncle is going to destroy Satoshi's rings. Please, ask for them to save you. But without even knowing Satoshi's face, I can never say that to her. The only person who can ask her to seek help is Rika. She's been living with her for the past year and she's like family. That's true. I told her today, but she didn't listen to me. It's sad, but the only person who can really talk to Satoko is Rika. I wish I could talk to her too, but I agree. Rika is her best friend. If she can't persuade her, no one can. If we can open Satoko's heart, I'm sure everything will resolve itself. Might be a better approach rather than going to the CCC like this. That's not quite true. Although Reina isn't wrong either. We both have to reach out our hands. Satoko needs to reach out her hand too. I also have to do the same. If everyone doesn't work together, a miracle is not going to happen. I didn't work hard enough because I didn't believe we could do it, so the miracle never happened. So I'm going to make a greater effort. So I'm sure Satoko will take my hand. Oh, can't really explain what I want to say. I'm sorry. Riko's usually a quiet girl, but she talks a lot every once in a while. Just because she's quiet doesn't mean she's not thinking about anything. When I'm quiet, I'm usually not thinking about anything. Either that or I'm thinking about something dumb. But Rika's a better character than I am. In fact, because she's quiet, she must have a lot inside her heart that she's never expressed. We are going to continue our appeal to the consultation centre. Rika is going to persuade Satoko. This is the best approach, or at least the best one that I can think of. It might be slow and quiet, but now that I'm in the game, I can't quit until I win. If I gave up, I'd lose everything that I bet on. We're going to save Satoko. We just have to work together. But obviously, we don't have much time left to fight. What to do? We're definitely going to have less people tomorrow. In other words, we can't intimidate the CCC any more than we did today. I couldn't see any way to break our deadlock with the consultation centre, so I had no choice but to swallow the irritation starting to boil up in my chest and pretend not to notice it. It's getting pretty dark. Mion, you should tell everyone to go home now. I have a festival committee meeting tonight, so I have to head straight there after this. I need to go to the meeting too. I almost forgot. Pardon me, hiccups. That meant I had to go too. Well, it wouldn't be a big deal if I missed the meeting. I should still go. I don't understand most of the things they're even talking about there, but I don't want to be rude. I'd have no choice but to go. I guess we need to wrap things up for today. Otherwise, you're not going to make it in time for the meeting. Mion thanked all the people who came today and told them to meet at the same place at the same time tomorrow. And with that, the third day of our desperate appeal was over. Hello? It's me, Keiichi. Yeah, I'll eat when I get home. I'm going straight to the assembly hall from here. Dad is on his way, right? Okay, got it. I called my mum and told her I'd be going to the meeting without coming home. I'd get there kind of early, but if I went home first I wouldn't make it in time. Mion, Rika and Irie were going to head there with me. Shion said she was also coming, and now Reina didn't want to go home alone either. My dad won't be home until late tonight, so I'm coming too. I hope that's alright with you guys. I hope. That's fine with us. They'll be glad to see a bunch of young people there. So my voice keeps dropping out, I'm sorry. Always happens when I read this game. I know it's going to, and yet every Thursday by 11 o'clock my voice is gone. The average age will plummet. I want to say hi to Uncle Kimiyoshi too. I haven't seen him in a while. We all headed towards the Furude Shrine in the dim light. The light was on in the assembly building. Some people had already arrived. Good evening. You guys are early. Hello, Mion, and her friends. Good evening, Dr. Irie. Good evening. You're here early. We don't have anything else to do. More people started coming into the meeting hall. Everyone seemed to come so early. I should probably come earlier from now on too. I thought I saw a lot of fashionable shoes at the entrance today. There are lots of young people here. Shion, it's been so long. What brought you here today? Everyone bowed to the newest arrival. It was the mayor, Kimiyoshi. He strode into the room with the other committee members. Hello, it's been a while. I was hanging out with my sis and just happened to be coming along with them. Is that so? Well, you're welcome here. You're coming along to the Minagoroshi festival this year, right? Yes, I'm going this year for sure. I want to see Keiichi hosting the auction too. Haha, I guess it's time for young people like you to take over the festival. By the way, I wanted to talk to you, Mion. Can you come this way? Fine, what is it? Is it that guy from the refreshment booth team still angry? Well... Mion headed outside with Kimiyoshi and the other committee members. There's only one room in the building, so they have to go outside if they want to talk in private. Today is Thursday, so we only have 3 more days until the festival. Are you ready for the auction? There's not much that I can do now. I'm ready to get up on stage and do my thing, though. I think Keiichi performs best under pressure. Everyone laughed. Everyone clapped. Etc. We continued to chat about the festival. We talked about what kind of festival young people like us would want to see, that sort of stuff. Suddenly, Mion tapped me on the shoulder. Keiichi, I need you for a second. She gestured for me to follow her out front without letting the others know. What does she want? Once outside, I see Mion, Miss Chie, and the principal. Oh, Miss Chie, Mr. Principal. Good evening. Miss Chie responded to my greeting, but the principal must not have heard me since he didn't. His eyes were closed. He seemed lost in thought. That sight caused our happy, chatty feelings to cool off quickly. FYI, I don't... I still say Oyashiro-sama, but all the other sans and chans and senseis and kuns and etc. I just approximate them. Probably I should say Lord Oyashiro, but Oyashiro-sama rolls off the tongue better. And also I've got into the habit of saying it now, so I'm not going to stop. That sight caused our happy, chatty feelings to cool off quickly. My intuition told me this had to be something bad. I need to talk to you, Mibara. That doesn't sound good. Are you going to the CCC again tomorrow? Yes, we'll keep fighting until they save Satoko. That's our mission. I don't know if we'll get as many supporters as we did today, but we're going back there again. Right, Mion? Mibara, I know you've already made plans for tomorrow, but after that, I think you should wait and see what they do. Thanks to the advice from Mr. Oishi last night, I already had an idea of the situation. Is this a warning, Miss Chie? If our protest grows any bigger, the village officials will have to take notice of it. That's why you're telling me to quit now, isn't it? Maybara, I think what you're doing is a good thing. You're not wrong to pursue the things you believe in. However, she stopped talking after that. Miss Chia was supporting us until just yesterday. She even came to the CCC with us on the second day. So for her to start saying completely the opposite, I felt slightly dizzy from the shock of it. Keiichi, let me explain instead. Miss Chia is still supporting us as an individual. However, well, is she being pressured by the Board of Education or something? Miss Chia will never bow to pressure. You have no idea how courageous she is. She ignored the Board of Education and came to this village when the Hinamizawa branch school still wasn't approved by the government. I think Mion told me that before. The school was closed when the dam conflict happened. However, the village children still came to school to learn. There were no teachers there though, because the school wasn't officially operating. That was when Miss Chia arrived. After they won the dam conflict, the Sonozaki family and other villagers made an appeal and the school's existence was finally approved. Our school did not have the most easy start. The government was against it, but the villagers forced them to approve. Miss Chia came along with us in our appeal yesterday. That was very courageous of her, but now people who want to close the school are paying attention to what we're doing. That's basically it. Miss Chia can't support us openly anymore. Miss Chia stared at the ground as Mion spoke. I'd never seen her look so sad. If it was just about me, I wouldn't care what happened. I don't want to be a teacher who can't even fight for her own students. But I can't put the whole school in jeopardy. I don't know who told her this. Whoever it was, they wanted not to escalate things around Toko's case. They threatened the existence of our school to make her obey and pressured her with responsibilities she couldn't take on her own. You know, yesterday Mr. Oishi told me something similar, in the exact same spot too. He warned me that if I kept escalating this, I'd be fighting against the elders who still don't like the Hojo family, or something like that. He told you that? Well, he's not really wrong. Mion looked at the ground along with Miss Chia. I always thought Miss Chia and Mion were stronger people, so seeing them both hanging their heads like this is hopeless made me feel like we were being pushed into a dead end, and I hated it. You were just at the CCC with us. You told everyone to come again tomorrow. That's the Mion I came to this meeting with. So when did she get swapped with this weak Mion? When I said, when did she get swapped, I immediately thought of one thing. The mayor took her outside the building earlier. Did he? I see. He called you out here to talk about this, didn't he? Well, kind of. It felt painful to see her fake a smile like that. She was only out here with him for about 10 minutes. The hell did he tell her that crushed her spirit? Mion, Miss Chia, the two of you are the strongest people I know. I respect you very much. I can't even imagine what kind of pressure would cause you to change your opinions overnight. I didn't feel like getting mad at them. They were just as passionate about saving Stoko as I was. Towards them, I felt nothing but pity. Maybara, I don't know what to say. I don't need to apologise. I could feel an angry tone entering my voice. I've had enough. Tell me something. Why do the old people in the village still hate the Hojo family that much? The damn conflict is over. Stoko is totally innocent, isn't she? Why do they still hate her so much? Who hates her? Whose fault is this? I'm gonna have a chat with whoever that is. I don't think anyone actually hates the Hojo family. What? What are you saying? It's true that the Hojo family was the enemy during the dam conflict. The whole village believed that. But after Stoko's parents died, people started realising she was innocent. But no one ever came forward to forgive her. I can explain why. Shion. It wasn't just Shion who appeared. Reina and Rika were there with her. They'd come out to check on me and overheard what we were talking about. After uniting to turn the Hojo family into their scapegoat, the village is still living in fear. But not because they're scared of them. They're living in the fear that if they end up connected to the Hojo family, they'll be made a scapegoat by the village too. In other words, if you help a member of the Hojo family, you might get attacked by the village just like they did. They still feel that way years after the conflict. Is that true? Everyone was always nice to Stoko at school. Only the old people are involved in this. However, they're the core of the village. They all believe that the leader of the Sonozaki family, my granny, still hates the Hojo family. But that's not true. Granny is also afraid. She thinks that if she forgives the Hojo family, the older elders will lose trust in her. This is complicated. So what do you mean? Who am I supposed to punch in the face? Truth is, no one really hates the Hojo family. They all think we should forgive them, but they can't come forward with that opinion. They're convinced that everyone else still hates the Hojo family. So everyone is misunderstanding each other? That's right. You can ask all of them individually. You'll see that no one really hates her. Her parents' death marked the closure of that hatred. After her parents died, my grandma told everyone not to bother them anymore. However, she didn't tell people to forgive them. That's probably because of my father. Rika's father? Why is that? My father was so laid back that people started saying he didn't deserve to be a leader in the village anymore. Rika's dad was a very relaxed guy. I think that helped him calmly resolve things. But at the time, people who were burning with anger about the dam project were looking for a more aggressive leader. So my granny came forward and acted as one in order to unite the whole village. And because of her role as an aggressive leader, she can't publicly announce that she's going to forgive the Hojo family. That was Kitchi, by the way. Sorry, I forgot to swap voices. My energy is flagging. Yeah, old people put a lot of stock into not changing their minds. She can't reverse the policy so easily. But that's terrible. People are still refusing to forgive Satoko and then blaming it on everyone else. They can't forgive her because they're afraid of what other people might think. That's awful. During the dam project, a few households actually thought it would be fine to vacate their house as they were getting compensation money from the government, but they couldn't say that out loud. The Hojo family, however, came forward with their opinion and announced that they were willing to vacate. Those households gained courage after seeing the Hojo family, and they almost established a group of people who agreed to leave. I'm sure you understand this after today, but in order to effectively protest something, everyone has to have the same opinion. It's important that the whole village is on the same page. Before the dam conflict, Hinamizawa was tearing itself apart instead of waging war. They said that it was because my father was such a lazy leader. He never thought they'd actually build a dam. He believed we could reach a peaceful resolution just by negotiating. People thought that was why some families started agreeing to leave. Supporters of the plan to evacuate. Sounds strange. This is the first I've heard of that. People in the village always said they supported the dam project. She's right. They usually claim their enemies supported the project itself. It sounds worse if you call them dam project supporters than if you call them evacuation supporters, doesn't it? If you call them evacuation supporters, it makes it sound like they're peaceful people who don't want to fight. But calling them dam project supporters makes it sound... I see. It sounds more like a group of bad people trying to submerge the village underwater. It's all about appearances. Coach had appeared. He came out outside after noticing how long we'd been gone. The village of Hinamizawa was brimming with a sense of unity. Mr. Furude was not able to unite the village. The Sonozaki family figured out they could seize power if they were to take charge of that unity. I'm starting to understand now. Let's phrase it a different way. In order to unite the village, they attacked the Hojo family, who betrayed their sense of unity. They used them to intimidate other people. People became afraid of the Hojo family, so they changed their minds and started protesting against the dam. They held that if you interacted with the Hojo family, you were probably a supporter of the dam project yourself. That's why everyone kept their distance from them. They acted like they didn't even see them. When someone from the family talked to them, they ignored it. Initially, they were targeting only Toko's parents, but eventually the whole family was seen as a target. As a result, her uncle and aunt were caught in the line of fire too. It's kind of ironic. That was the reason they started abusing Stoko to begin with. Her uncle and aunt weren't supported the dam project, but because of Stoko's parents, they were also attacked. After Stoko's parents died, they were forced to take care of the children. Finally makes sense. You can see the whole picture now. The dam conflict is over and Stoko's parents are dead. I think the Sonozaki family should speak out and publicly forgive the Hojo family. But once again, there's an issue. Granny is afraid that elderly people here will lose their trust in her if she publicly forgives the Hojo family. Seems like the Sonozaki family is as worried about the people taking them lightly as the consultation centre is. I heard this directly from her, so I'm sure that's what's happening. All she could do was tell everyone not to bother them anymore. When she dies, she wants the next family head to officially declare the end of the dam conflict and stop discriminating against the Hojo family. Mom knows about this too. I heard about it from her, actually. It's just that old hag's stubborn pride. But let me ask you this. It sounds to me like the mayor and his people threatened me on and told Miss Chia they'd close the school. How about them? Do they still have bitter feelings towards the Hojo family? It's ridiculous. Even Uncle Kimiyoshi thinks no one in the village hates them. It's just sad that the dam conflict hasn't completely ended for these people. They're still afraid of being badmouthed behind their back if they interact with the Hojo family. But people like you and Rika interact with her. I'm young and I don't have any ties to the town council either. Plus, Rika's special. She is the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama was the one who brought humans and demons together, which means she was able to live with Stoko, even though Stoko's not accepted by the villagers. After hearing all this, I'm beginning to understand how difficult it was for Stoko to live in the village. She always acted bright and cheerful in school and in the club. I thought that was her whole world, but I had no idea how she felt when she was walking around alone in the village. She probably went grocery shopping, even knowing that people were going to ignore her. She felt the coldness from them, but she was standing strong on her feet. I had no idea she was going through something like that. I knew she went through tough times during the dam conflict, but I had no clue she was struggling to this day. What a sad story. And the whole thing is just nonsense too. Do you feel that way too, Reina? I feel exactly the same. No one feels bitter towards Satoko, but everyone is afraid that something bad will happen to them if they interact with her. Whose fault is this? No one's? Is the land or society making them feel that way? It's no one's fault, yet they're so worried about everyone else. Everyone else's opinions? They can't forgive her, huh? Yes, that kind of atmosphere is great when the wind's blowing in a good direction. People would act kindly and help each other. But the case of the Hildra family is totally the opposite. It's spreading like a mold and no one can do anything about it. What do you do with a rotten tatami mat? You have no choice but to toss it out and get a new one. So the mayor is pressuring us not because he hates Toko, but because he thinks that if he lets us run free, someone, who doesn't even exist, might talk badly about him. So that's why he can't leave us be? I call that someone the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Everyone is afraid of that someone even though he doesn't exist. But that someone doesn't exist and they're not a real person. Shion's theory sounded interesting. Everyone follows the rules because they're afraid of someone. However, even the leaders of the village are afraid of the same thing. Everyone in the village is following the rules because they're afraid of someone who doesn't even exist. They still follow the rules of the dam conflict, thinking they'll be cursed if they forgive Toko. Who the hell is that someone? They could only call it the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama cursed the Hildra family because they supported the dam project. They still believe that, and Toko is struggling because of it. Oyashiro-sama will not curse Toko. She thinks Toko is adorable. Please don't use her name for something horrible like that. Rika made a sad face. She's the shrine maiden for Oyashiro-sama, and the reincarnation of him. I don't think there's a curse in this village at all. Everyone is just convinced that there is. If that's the case, this isn't the CCC's fault at all. The whole village bears responsibility. Yes, I think so too. A new song. I thought appealing to the CCC would solve the problem. That's not going to do anything. A rotten tatami mat, huh? We can't just clean the surface. Even if the CC does save Satoko, that's nothing but a temporary fix. I guess we need to throw away the rotten tatami mat so we can save her for good. I think the tatami mats are all assembled nearby. I agree. Most of them were within a 20-meter radius of here. Hey, Keiichi, Reina, what are you guys gonna do? Mion, you're deeply involved in the village. I know you feel hesitant to save Satoko as one of the leaders here. I understand why you and Miss Cherry almost gave up under the pressure, but I had nothing to lose. Nebara, are you really going to... right here? I'm going to do it. I'm going to get rid of that rotten tatami mat. Will you join me, Reina? Yes, I'm tougher than you think. I know, but you should settle down just a little bit. I feel like you could blow up a school if you got too serious. Wink. I think you could beat up someone with a metal bat if you got too serious. Wink. We're both pretty tough, huh? Well, let's go. Yeah, let's go. I understand your position, Leon. You don't have to come with me. Just leave if you think things are going to get out of control. This is more dangerous than any club activity. I'm damn serious about this. Damn serious about this. As the next head of the family, she shouldn't agree with me, but she stared in silent approval of what I was about to do. Okay, if you're going to take that risk, then I'm coming with you too. That's the way. Just watch how I'll take care of this. What about you, Shion? Fortunately, I have nothing to lose. I'll support you guys. Miss Chie, Mr. Principal, I understand your stance. We're not at school right now. Please forgive what we're about to do now. You're right. I'm not your teacher right now. The principal and I will entrust our will to you. I'm supporting you guys too. If they want me out of the village, I'm willing to close down my clinic. It's only natural for a master to sacrifice everything. Don't say words like that. I can feel everyone's power flowing into me. I hate the spooky whispers in the background. It's unnerving me. I'm not even going to try and cool down. I need to be fired up for something like this. As I turned back, I noticed Mr. Oishi and my dad. I didn't know how long they'd been standing there. You seem excited about something, Nebara. Mr. Oishi, you told me last night that there are some things a man can't give up on. We have to take a chance, even when it's risky. Keiichi, don't stop me, Dad. I know it's important to be polite, but I need to do this for my friend. I'm not going to stop you. Huh? He gave me a big smile. Never seen my dad smile like that before. I believe in what you just told Oishi. There are some things a man shouldn't give up on. Roll's eyes. You'll encounter something like that in your life sooner or later. If this is that time, then I'm not going to stop you. Oh, Keiichi's father is so cool. Of course, he's my dad. He's at least half as cool as me. I'm not from Hinamizawa. Can't take either side, but I'll be watching you closely, Mibara. When it's make or break the game, take the risk and discard for the middleweight. It's something my old friend used to say. You can't compromise once you make a decision. If you're going to forfeit, do so immediately. But if you're going to fight, be confident in yourself. Mahjong uses double scoring after all. Even if you get a small amount of points several times in succession, you'll lose if someone scores a lot of points all at once. You just have to be confident when you're ready to fight. Do you play Mahjong too, Miss Maybara? They started talking about Mahjong together. This is going to be interesting. Someone from the committee came outside and told us to come inside for the meeting. It was time for it to start. Alright, let's go inside. I feel like we're finally getting up on the stage. No wonder we felt something was missing at the CCC. Yeah, this is supposed to be the stage all along. We were fighting with the wrong people for the past 3 days. Let's go. Someone pulled my shirt. It was Rika. Keiichi, you're not only Stoker's best friend, but you're also a member of the village's 3 families. You can just watch what Reina and I are going to do. But if you're willing to help us save Satoko, I want you to support us. You're going to try and change those hard-headed men? I'm going to change them. I told you before, fate is thinner than a piece of paper. I'll tear it down with ease. What is going to happen? According to the traditions of the village, the curse of Oyashiro-sama, Shion sure has an interesting theory. Is Keiichi going to smash it too? Can he destroy the curse of Oyashiro-sama? He will break it. Keiichi has the power to break everything. It's not just Keiichi's power though. Because everyone is working together, Keiichi is able to break anything. This energy is more powerful than the lucky 6 on the die. It's not luck. He's destroying fate with his own 2 hands. Everyone followed Keiichi and entered the assembly hall. I followed in after them. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this with Keiichi. If this doesn't work out, that's it for me. I'm going to give it my very best. We're going to be cliffhangers. Knew it. I knew it. View new tips. I see. We're good as long as we know the town council and the ODA aren't involved. Please, take care of Stoko's case without worrying about it too much. I will. I'm glad to know the whole village isn't backing them. I wouldn't agree with them if they were, though. No matter who is pulling the strings, we must treat every case equally. The whole odd rule that we have to give Hina Mizawa special treatment is only due to the precedent set when we let threats influence us before. Well, you're absolutely right, sir, but please continue to work on this case. The manager from municipal government assured us the town council has nothing to do with this petition. It's a problem that our organisation is so afraid of one tiny community. As a manager, you should think about that a little. Yes, I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm glad to hear that the village isn't supporting them. You must act the same way even if the village does support them, no matter who is behind the scenes. Please be very careful with Toko Hojo's case. Don't try to give it any special treatment, you understand? /fight. Anyway, folks, that is actually going to be it for me tonight because my throat is really hurting and I think we're at a really good cliffhanger. So I am going to end the stream off here, slightly earlier than I was intending to, but c'est la vie. I'm going to say thank you so much for watching. It is very, very much appreciated and I do hope that you enjoyed. I'm probably not going to be streaming tomorrow, I probably won't feel up to it, but on Saturday I will be streaming Nier Automata, where we're going to be continuing through Route B and seeing what happens in this terrible world. Another game where we keep playing the same storyline over and over again. Then on Sunday it will be Destiny 2, where we're going to be finishing the main story of Beyond Light and starting the seasonal content for Season of the Hunt. Then on Tuesday it'll be Final Fantasy XIV, where we're going to be continuing to catch our shut up by doing Odin, Bunker, and maybe some more of the bullshit unlocks. I haven't decided yet. And then next Thursday will be more Higurashi when they cry Minagoroshi, where we're going to try our hardest to convince a village to save Satoko. So thank you very much everybody, it was very much appreciated. I do hope that you enjoyed. Have a wonderful evening and I shall see you guys on Saturday.